What's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's shaking? What's going on? I hope you're having a good time. I think I'm a little hot there on the mic. One second, let me shake that down a little bit. My name is Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. This is episode 133 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Just an all Q&A today. The first one we've done in quite some time. And David Coe, here you go. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it, we are live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Live in episode 133. 133 of these. And all Q&A. Get your questions in now if you want your question guaranteed to be answered. That's Super Chat territory. Or you just want to throw your hat in the ring and take the risk, that's up to you as well. It all depends on how many people we get into the chat room watching the show today. There just might be people that just don't give a shit and don't want to tune in. That's entirely possible as well. Tony, how you doing? What are you laughing at? What's going on?
We live in such a pansy fucking society. We do.
No.
The dislike button has been removed.
Oh, yeah, it has. Well,
because of fucking people disliking Biden's videos. We live in that much of a sensitive culture. I can't believe it. You can see the amount of people liking it, but you won't be able to see who's disliked. Sorry, trolls.
That's correct.
Sorry. Unfortunately,
sorry about that.
Unfortunately, Joe Piss Pants Biden can't handle dislikes on his YouTube video. So YouTube is yeah.
I think that's part
YouTube
of it.
YouTube is being asshole.
Yeah, I think that's it's definitely the that's definitely was the sort of the tipping point. But I think it's probably been in the works for a while, over tons of stuff. The review, the down thumb bombing.
I can't believe. I'm just dumbfounded. It's just sitting here looking at it like I cannot.
I couldn't care less who likes or dislikes.
I know, like really, it's like what the fuck.
I know.
Let's go, Brandon.
It's.
Let's go, Brandon, baby. Let's go.
It's a crazy time out there, that's for sure. But I, on the other hand, couldn't care less.
I know, but now we're not going to have our trolls anymore, man. What the fuck?
I know. It is a little disappointing.
Sorry, guys. I know how much some of you love to troll me and Dave, but it's...
Well, they can still do it. They can still hit the dislike button. It's still there. It just doesn't show up.
It's not going to show up. It's like, well, okay.
It just doesn't show up.
I keep hitting it just to see if it'll show, but
no, it won't show up.
Yeah, it's nothing showing up.
No. I downvote my videos all the time. Every time I do a video, I'm like, fuck this McRae, and I download his shit. Fuck that McRae, such a piece of shit. Tony Michael and Dave McRae, they're such fucking hoes, man. Anyway, so so questions. Get your questions in now. It's an all Q&A. So let's see what we got going on. Let's start with Chester Franklin Jr. who goes into the paint, and he says, Dave and Tony, how did you guys got into the whole two dudes idea? Well, we've answered this before. Yeah, that's about it. We've answered this before, but I would say that it all started in 2018, and Tony was getting very busy, and he had to step away from YouTube, but we wanted to do something together and kind of collab, and we decided to, well, let's do a show, and we'll do it like once a week. We'll be talking about movies, and then it evolved to a watch-along kind of thing where we're watching movies, and Tony was the one who came up with, I think I came up with the two dudes part, and then Tony came up with and some bullshit part. So I think it was kind of like a collab in that sense. I was like, yeah, it should be like two dudes. Some
bullshit.
And then Tony's like, yeah, and some bullshit. I'm like, there you go, that's it. And that's kind of how it happened.
That was because we're not movie critics, even though we talk about movies, but we're not breaking it down from a critic perspective. You know what I mean? We're just like, basically it's like taking what me and Devin do face to face when we just shoot the shit about movies, and we're doing it on YouTube between me and you know what I mean? Or like you and Bruce, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you and Bruce are always talking about movies off the camera, and then some of the shit you guys, some of the shit. So that's where the idea came from. It's just the two friends just hanging out, just shooting the shit about, movies, and, Dave, being a voiceover actor, me being a photographer, bringing it from some of that perspective, like, how shots were set up, and, I can dissect it from that, or, Dave talking about it from the inside business perspective and all that fucking craziness, and, all the nuts and bolts to making a movie. Which there's a lot of them, sometimes too many.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, it's
sometimes too many.
Yeah,
that was the concept. I know some of you guys like asked Dave, like, or I, like, hey, can you guys review? Can you get, like, I just don't view what we do as we're reviewers.
Yeah, I get. I mean? Well, yeah, it's a semantics thing, right? I think I think anybody who talks about movies or talks about what they like or don't like in a movie, to a certain group, can be just seen as a movie reviewer. They're just kind of lumped in with, while you're talking about it. But when I say to people that I'm not a movie reviewer, I'm talking about those that are real reviewers, like Cody Leach or I guess Lee McCoy to some degree, and guys that actually, like a Chris Stuckman, or people who review movies, who go through the plots. They'll give you their likes, their dislikes. It's more formal. It's structured.
Isn't one of the guys from Wham a writer now from Bloody Disgusting?
I don't think officially. I think it's more. I don't know for sure. It's Mike who's doing that. I don't know if he's on there or if he's just kind of like freelancing a bit, from time to time. I'm not sure, because it's not the first time he's done it. He did it a couple years ago too.
Yeah, because I saw an article pop up. I was like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's for me, that's what I see as a movie reviewer. I've always seen myself here on YouTube when I'm Dave McRae, the YouTuber, which I still don't like that term. It's, again, to me, it just sounds like I am living in my mom's basement and I can't buy a hamburger. But that's me. I much prefer the term like YouTube personality or something. I don't know. There's just something about YouTuber. I don't know. It just sounds.
No, I get it, dude. Because I was getting
sounds destitute to me.
Instagrammer title, No, yeah, I get it. I do.
It sounds like I'm destitute or something. But anyway, it is what it is. It's out there in the zeitgeist. That's what it is. When I'm Dave McRae, the YouTuber, I'm a movie commentator. I just commentate on shit. There's no real structure per se. It's just offering my thoughts and opinions on things, and yeah, not really following sort of a structure or expectations as well, right? Like, when you become a movie reviewer,
you fucking YouTuber.
Well, when you become a movie reviewer, you set expectations, and then people expect you to review the latest and greatest movies that come out. I don't do that. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to be hold to people's expectations. I just want to kind of talk about whatever I want to talk about and be sort of in charge of the content. I give you the content. You either like it or you don't, and that's it. So
no, Dave, unless you talk about Halloween, we're not watching you.
Oh, well, there's a lot of people that are like that. There's a lot of people. Oh, listen, I have over 25,000 subscribers. If I do a live show on Halloween, it doesn't matter what it is. I could be talking about the original film again and my favorite things about the original film, and 400 people would tune in live to hear me say the same thing I've said 473,721 times.
I do if it was a Halloween Q&A.
100%. I do something new. That I think is exciting and interesting. 110 people.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's funny. It's fascinating. It's from a sociological perspective. It's definitely interesting. Okay, super chat comes in from James Fallen, sends in $10. Thank you, buddy. He says, hey, Tony and Dave, you guys are the best and you keep me sane here at work. Well, that's awesome, man. We're so glad that we're able to keep you sane. That's the important part. Joe Hain, is it? H.A. Han, maybe? Have you guys seen No Time to Die? If so, what are your Cliff Notes thoughts? I still have not seen No Time to Die. Tony, you?
What is that?
The latest James Bond movie that came out, the last Daniel Craig film?
I have never seen one James Bond movie, let alone the most recent one. Yeah, I'm not really.
I recommend watching Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. I think you'll really like it. I like him as Bond, but I haven't seen it. No, I've not seen it. Intel Wild says, Dave, got my 3 posters from It's Me, Billy about a week ago. Oh, amazing. Awesome, dude. That's good. Yeah, there's still posters that we still have to send out. We've sent out about half the posters. So all the t-shirts have gone out. All the hoodies have gone out. About half the posters have gone out. I sent off 30 Blu-rays today, by the way, 10 in Canada, 20 to the United States. All right. So if you picked up an It's Me, Billy Blu-ray, all right, you might be on that list. Be patient with us. There's over 400 Blu-rays we're sending out, so we have to take it in batches. That's to keep our sanity and the post office's sanity as well. Hello to Zena in the background there. That's Tony's dog barking at a mailman walking by and whatever's going on. So be patient, but we've started the process. So that is, we still have to send out, the remaining posters, the director's scripts, and of course the phones and the hats as well. But that's awesome to know that you got your posters. Amazing. Hopefully they looked okay and turned out okay. Did they come okay? I mean, they're in that tube, so they should be fine. But they arrived in one piece, I'm assuming, or you would let me know. I'm sure. That's awesome. Let's see. A couple more super chats came in here. Dark Light sends in $2, says Richard Donner versus Steven Spielberg, best films. Well, okay. So we're Richard Donner's best films and Spielberg's best films. Or are you asking Richard Donner versus Steven Spielberg? I mean, there's no comparison. It's Steven Spielberg. In terms of, the impact on film and pop culture and the industry and films overall. I think Spielberg's best movies, it depends. I mean, I think, if you wanted to pick a top 5 Spielberg, I would say Jaws, in no particular order. I would say Jaws, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, and maybe... maybe want to throw in maybe Empire of the Sun or something. I'm trying to mix it up a bit. You got some action, some sci-fi, some drama, things like that. Donner, I mean, Jesus, Superman, he's in there with Lethal Weapon. Goonies, yeah, Goonies. I'd have to look at his filmography. What about you, Tony?
Omen. Don't forget The Omen. He did The Omen.
He did. What's your, what would you say is your top 5 Spielberg?
I mean, I don't know. For Spielberg, where do you begin? I mean, Jaws, E.T.
Oh, E.T. Yeah.
See, Jaws, E.T. I'm just kind of going through the greatest hits right now with him. What else did he do in the 80s? Poltergeist, sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
The 80s. I mean, look at. You know what? I'd throw Raiders on there too.
Raiders, even though I haven't seen those, but I know that those are classic.
Yeah. The Color Purple, Jurassic Park.
He did The Color Purple.
He did.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the thing with me and Spielberg is I think he's great. I just don't get behind the hype. You know what I mean? I've enjoyed his movies. He's not my style of a director. You know what I mean? Where we watched The Shining not too long ago and we're talking about Stanley Kubrick. That's a director that I can get behind. That's because Kubrick comes at it from more the artistic perspective that I like. Not saying that Spielberg doesn't. It just, I don't know. I don't get super hyped on the Spielberg train. Donner, I mean, I said, Goonies, The Omen, Superman 1 and 2. I mean, in a versus category, I mean, again, I think film is subjective. So I think you'll probably have Donner fans who would defend Donner and what he did. And obviously you're going to have the Spielberg camp and defending what Spielberg did. And I'm going to be over here defending Kubrick. So I think it's subjective. It's not really, you can't say one is out better than the other because no one is walking away with a title. You know what I mean? Like a championship.
Yeah, it's what I always say, when I talk about Spielberg and his impact on, and obviously the further, we get away from his era, and the kids that are coming up today, obviously probably don't, see it in the same ways. it's
I am confused why he's doing West Side Story though. Like I'm really confused
it's
by
because
that.
it's largely because I think I actually can't wait to see it. It looks tremendous.
Really? I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest musicals of all, like in cinema history.
It looks great. It looks great because he's always wanted to do a musical and he's never done a musical. And
it's like saying you're going to do The Sound of Music. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
but
there's just
if you're going to put it,
there's certain musicals like West Side Story, Sound of Music. You don't touch them. There's no need to touch them. It's like someone saying now, hey, I'm going to go do your movie Jaws, buddy. Like, like why? There's no reason to do it.
Yeah. But I would argue that it's if there is somebody to do it, it's in the hands of arguably the greatest filmmaker that's ever lived. Now, what I mean by arguably the greatest filmmaker who's ever lived, what I mean by that,
talent.
What I mean, but he has it's Steven Spielberg. Of course, he has the talent.
No, I mean the talent, like the singing voices to do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're talking of the time when West Side Story was done. You're talking about some of the greatest singers.
Have you seen the trailer to the new one? You should check it out. I think it looks great.
I mean, it looks visually fine, but like we'll see when the chick starts singing Maria, and we'll see how that turns out.
We'll see. But when it comes to Spielberg, what is so what a lot of people have to understand for those maybe that are coming up today and don't, realize is it's the reason why Spielberg is often considered either the GOAT or at least on the Mount Rushmore of GOATs is because of his cultural and industry impact when it comes to pop culture zeitgeist. And so, you can make an argument that Spielberg's films are populist films, right? And so he's not a Kubrick in the sense where Kubrick is a terrific filmmaker and he's layered and he's deep and all that kind of stuff. Not that Spielberg isn't, but there are degrees, right? There's a spectrum. But Kubrick wasn't a populist filmmaker. And so, which just simply means he's not making movies for the general movie audience. He's not making films to appeal to everybody. Whereas Spielberg, not necessarily saying he started or intentionally in doing that, but his career path and the films and the talent and sort of he just came along at the right time. And it is largely because of him that the blockbuster was born and the industry changed, the way films were marketed, the way films were promoted, the way films were made, in the mid to late 70s is thanks to people like Steven Spielberg, George Lucas. Now, Spielberg stayed in the directing chair. Lucas didn't. He directed the first Star Wars film, and then he didn't direct again till 1999's The Phantom Menace. Now, he produced and wrote, of course, but once Star Wars and Indiana Jones were over, he didn't really do much. And there's reasons for that. But Spielberg, when you look at his filmography, not just in directing, but you look at it in terms of what he directed. So you have Jaws, Close Encounters, E.T., the 3 Indiana Jones movies in the 80s. You have Jurassic Park, and of course Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan. But you look at the movies he's helped produce and spearhead and bring to life, like the Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Gremlins, and his impact on the pop culture zeitgeist is incredible. He was and still is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. He's the guy that if he calls, you pick up your phone, you return the call. He has the ability to change your life, to make and change careers, like the Johnny Carson of late night. If you went on Johnny Carson, he has the ability to make or break a career. And that's what Spielberg was. I mean, not necessarily now at this moment in time, although he still has that clout. There's still that mystique about him because of where he's come from and who he is in terms of that populist blockbuster career-making sort of films. And so that's why, and of course, a lot of his movies are really good. And they've embedded themselves into the pop culture consciousness as classics of populist filmmaking. I mean, even, AI and even some of his films in the early part of the 2000s, like Minority Report and whatnot. Now, ever since the end of the 90s and certainly kind of maybe after Minority Report, he's got, he's older now. So he's making more films that are more biographical, right? Like, Lincoln and War Horse and Munich and, that kind of stuff. It was really great to see him do Ready Player One, which I thought was terrific. Because if that movie had come out in the 80s, it would be a bona fide classic today. That was classic. Like that was the kind of shit that you saw in the 80s that nobody had ever seen before. Now, it's a dime a dozen, right? But I really enjoyed that movie. So my heart will always lean to Spielberg because of he's arguably one of, if not the most influential filmmaker of all time. You ask filmmakers today who was an influence on them, and he's on the list. We have Spielberg to thank for things like Stranger Things and all that kind of stuff. So that's it.
20 minutes. We were wrong. It wasn't 10 minutes. You'll get it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Ambition
20 minutes.
Thank you. Ambition 25 sends in $1.99, says, honest answer, what's better, Terminator or T2? Well, what are we measuring, right? What's better? What do I like better? I think T2 is probably the better made movie. I think T1 is starting to get more love. I think they're both good, but I don't know. I don't probably T2
I like them both for their own merits.
Yeah.
They're two different types. You know what I mean? T1 is more like that serious horror sci-fi, whereas T2 became more like action adventure type. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Gary Rangel sends in $2, says 2 dudes on Scream 3 soon, maybe close to Scream 5. Scream 3.
We haven't done 2.
We haven't done 2. No, we haven't done 2.
I think probably 2 would be better to do before 3.
Yeah, maybe. Sure. I'm not a big fan of 2. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll probably do.
Yeah, I'm sure do something before.
When does Scream come out?
Next month.
Yeah.
I say next month, meaning
January 20 something.
Yeah, January. Month and a half from now. Yeah.
January 20 something, I think. Reese Wilson, my man, sends in $14.99, says Australia had passed a law now that will force social media tech giants to reveal anonymous online trolls or face defamation lawsuits in the courts. I'm living in such a nanny state of a country. Oh my God. Listen, nobody likes trolls, but for Christ's sakes, calm the fuck down.
Yeah,
like that's
don't be
ridiculous.
Shocked if that shit starts coming on our doorstep soon.
Of course it will.
So Devontae, if you're watching us, better be careful. You're going to have cops showing up at your house and arresting you for some stupid shit because you can't troll anymore.
He was arrested a few years ago. Devontae is either in prison or dead. Zach Axiola says, thoughts on Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds? Oh, yeah. I really like that. Starring Tom Cruise. For me, it's my favorite book-to-film adaptation I've ever seen, and it's my personal fave of Spielberg's work. Wow. Interesting. I think it is... I like War of the Worlds, Spielberg's adaptation. It's got very sort of the... I know the ending is sort of kind of like it just kind of ends, but I believe that was very much like the book, if I'm not mistaken. In the early part of the 2000s, he was still doing like, those Spielberg, there's those Spielbergian, however you want to say it, kind of action adventure sort of sci-fi films like, Minority Report, which I really like. And War of the Worlds, I forgot about that. It was when he did Munich in 2005 that almost began like this biographical sort of thing. Like he did Munich and then War Horse, and then of course he did do Tintin there, the animated film. But then of course Lincoln and
he's done so much. Sometimes your creative outlet, you want to just start trying new shit.
Well, and he's older too, right? Like he's 74 or 5 years old, and he's in a different place in his life now in the last 10 years than he was when he was like our age, right? Yeah. When he's in his 40s, he's probably like, yeah, let's fucking do this action. When I'm 60 or 70, I might want to do some kind of slow-paced dramas as well. The fact that he did Ready Player One in his 70s is amazing. It's a great film. I really like that. It's classic Spielberg. I had a ball watching
the fact that Clint Eastwood's still doing this shit at 91. Fuck.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Like that's the thing that kids have to understand today is that, if Ready Player One had come out 35 years ago, it'd be the biggest thing of that year. You know, whatever year it came out, it would have been the biggest thing of that year. But now those kinds of movies are a dime a dozen. So you watch it, you know, and kids are like, "Oh, it was okay." Fuck you, it was okay. It's fucking look at this. Think about this. It was fucking. Don't watch Avengers. Like Avengers. People now are going, Dave, it's not very nice. I'm just busting your balls. Calm down. Yeah, Reese, I know what you mean. It's crazy. Zach Axial. Oh, I read that one.
Skipped over the J-Man's movie cave.
Oh, did I?
Any chance of a Rocky 76 or Rambo First Blood watch along soon? Keep up the great work. Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, for sure.
That'll
for sure
be coming.
Yeah, definitely. I like yeah. I'll do any of the Rocky except for 5. And First Blood, yeah, we gotta do First Blood.
Wait a minute, Rocky 5 is great. You knocked him down. Why don't you try knocking me down?
You try knocking me down. You know why you try knocking me? Harry Hagen. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Sends in $5. Says, my man Dave, hot take. Spielberg is a great director. Don't like any of his films except Minority Report and Jaws. Thanks for the Blu-ray win. Oh, no problem. That's right. Harry Hagen won the It's Me Billy Blu-ray on the Instagram contest we had over the last week. You don't like any of his films? Yeah. Well, hey, you know, I mean, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. I categorically disagree, of course, but it definitely would be a hot take. That is for sure. Let's see here. What else? We get some new ones in here. What else we got?
Got the AK Channel TV.
Oh yeah. You're right. It didn't take long. AK Channel TV sends in $4.99. Says, say Michael passes out and ends. Will they take him to another hospital because the mob will kill him at Haddonfield Memorial? What else could be done? I hope Michael
dying of COVID.
Yes, I hope Michael dies of COVID. Jamie Lee Curtis dances around in a tutu, screaming, "We did it! We did it! We did it!" Then Bob the Builder comes in.
While wearing the pink hats.
Yep. Then Bob the Builder comes in, and listen, I am pulling for Halloween Ends to be great, but I don't know. I have no idea. But seriously, you know, say Michael passes out and they take him to the hospital.
I'm still trying to justify what the hell Michael was doing for 4 years. That's the part I'm still trying to figure out. Like, must have a really good storyline, or either he's gone on this 4-year killing rampage, and is wiping out the entire town of Haddonfield, or what? He's just sitting in his house, like fucking knitting a sweater.
He's just sitting there knitting a sweater. No, I think it's going to be, I don't know for sure, but I think it's just going to be that he walked off into the ether, that he's just gone. I don't know where he is. Or he is captured again, but he's not going, which would suck, but he's not going to escape again. It's going to be like they're going to bring it, like maybe he escapes within the sanitarium or something to that. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. I haven't really given much Halloween thought over the last little, while since Halloween ended. I need a Halloween break. I'm not, I love Halloween. Don't get me wrong. I love talking Halloween, with you guys. But since Halloween Ends begins shooting in January and it's coming out next October, the Halloween train is about to begin again. And so I look at this window between October 31st and like January as like a little bit of some downtime to talk about other things, because once that Halloween train starts up again, it's going to be Halloween right to the end of October. So I don't know, man. I mean, I say Michael passes out and ends. Will they take him to another hospital? Yeah, maybe. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. I really haven't given it much thought, and that's the honest truth. I don't know. No. I don't know.
Did you see that? I mean, and I think it's reaching, but I have to go back and re-listen to it again. I guess there is some truth to it. That Lori had 2 failed marriages.
She did. Or failed relationships or something. Yeah.
In the 20s. So there's this thing of like, there's this thing of championing Danielle Harris to come back, that she could be from the first failed marriage.
Stop.
Yeah, I know.
Stop.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I don't understand why it's so difficult. And again, it's just my opinion, but I don't understand why people want to see, like, I guess there is a certain segment of a certain part of the population.
I'd only want to see it if you were picking up from part 4. I wouldn't want to see it in this timeline because it would make no fucking sense.
Well, that's my point.
But then again, that's the franchise in itself. So maybe it would.
I would only want to see it if Danielle Harris was reprising her role as Jamie Lloyd, the same Jamie Lloyd from Halloween 4. But then that would mean you would have to include Halloween 4 as canon. And then that would mean if 4 is canon, is 5 canon? And if 4 is canon, is 5 and 6 canon? Like, now is the Thorn trilogy? Now you're just sort of,
I would pick it up from like where 4 ended. And
I
just
agree.
Fuck the rest.
I agree. But I'm talking about if you did bring back Jamie Lloyd and she was the same Jamie Lloyd as part 4 and you brought her back and Halloween Ends, well, what the fuck does that mean? Now you're just making it more convoluted than it needs to be. Fuck Jamie. And I don't mean fuck Danielle Harris.
Careful.
In the sense of, but I'm saying, come on.
You also had a feud the other week.
I'm saying, fuck it. For the whole thing, it makes no logical sense. I have standards, and I don't want to see Danielle Harris come back in some glorified cameo as a convenience store clerk just to get her in there. I don't want to see it. If she's going to come back, and you don't want that either. Yeah, I know you say you do. No, I do. I don't mind. No, but come on. At the end of the day, what you really want, don't lie to yourself. What you really want is Danielle Harris back as Jamie Lloyd, the same daughter. Jamie Lloyd, the same Jamie Lloyd that has all those memories and all those experiences as a character from Halloween 4. That's what you want. Well, that's literally impossible in this new timeline because 4, 5, and 6 don't exist. And if they try to write something and include, it's like, maybe they bring her back and she's the convenience store clerk or she's the nurse or she's the pizza delivery woman or something. Oh, look, it's Danielle Harris for 3.8 seconds. You get a little bit of a nostalgia kick and you're like, oh, that was kind of fun. Who cares? I don't want that. Come on. It just seems so tacky and lame and shoehorned in. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't want that.
I said it on one of our streams a few weeks ago. The only character that you could realistically bring back from that 4, 5, 6 run is Ellie, Rachel's character, because you can say she was babysat by Laurie as a kid and the rest of that shit just never happened. And she's still part of the town. She's living in town. You know what I mean? Sure. Yeah. You could bring the Rachel character in. That could fit because she But that's it. You can't do anything else.
You're absolutely right. You absolutely could. But here's the caveat that still stands true, which I know we've talked about this before, and you're like, yeah, no, it's it's true. It's still true. Is that it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be this from a certain point of view. It still wouldn't be the same Rachel, even though it's the same Rachel. It wouldn't be the same Rachel because that Rachel wouldn't have the memories of Halloween 4. So you would be looking at it's the same Rachel, but it's not the same Rachel. And part of the fun of bringing back old school characters, part of the nostalgia is the fact that even if you don't realize this consciously, you're not thinking about it because you're just absorbing the movie and you're taking it as it comes and it's those feelings, is watching characters that are the same character, not just the same actors, but the same characters from the previous films. So when you look at Anthony Michael Hall, and regardless of whether you like Kills or hate Kills or think he was good as Tommy or not as good as Tommy, watching that movie, that's the same Tommy from Halloween 1, and he has all those memories. 40 years, right, all that stuff. No, but that, right?
Yeah,
and so part of the appeal of watching characters return, you always hope you can get the same actors, but even if you can't, part of the appeal of watching characters return is that those characters have all that baggage baggage and all those memories. And so there's this nostalgia feeling when you watch that character. You know that character is the same character, and there's a mystique around that character, and there's an aura around that character, seeing them, go through it again, and seeing them turn to the camera, and seeing that character realize that so-and-so is back, and watching that moment. Like, take Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, right? When Paul Rudd is trying to open that thing. It's Paul fucking Rudd. He looks nothing like Brian Andrews. But I remember watching that movie in the theater, despite the movie being crap. I remember watching that movie in the theater, and when Paul Rudd was banging on that thing with that fire hydrant or whatever, right? And Michael steps out of the door and turns, and Paul Rudd looks, and he kind of goes like this. It's cool. Why is it cool? Because it's the first time that they've seen each other since 1978. Because that Paul Rudd, despite the fact that he looks nothing like, the Tommy from part 1, as an audience member, that's the same character. And you can live vicariously through this moment. They're looking at each other, remembering that time. I remember it. Look, I'm watching them remember it too. And it's so cool to see them remember it, because I remember it and they're remembering it. And it's like, wow, it's this cool moment. Oh my God, it's so awesome. If you just bring back Danielle Harris to be a grocery store cashier, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, sure, you're like, oh great, there's Danielle Harris, but who fucking cares? And even if you brought her back as Jamie Lloyd, it wouldn't be the same Jamie Lloyd. So it'd be Jamie Lloyd in name only. She wouldn't have all these memories. That's why you want her to come back, because you want her to be Jamie Lloyd. Do you want steak, or do you want a fucking half-eaten hamburger with dog poo on it? Come on, have some standards.
Well, I think most would take the half-eaten poo with the dog hamburger.
You're probably right.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, because if you're gonna, like you said, if you're gonna bring back legacy characters, you
want
right.
to see them.
You want the Rachel that survived Halloween 4, not what happened to her in Halloween 5. You want to see that legacy character honored. Unfortunately, I don't think they did a great job with the legacy characters in Kills. I wished it would have been flushed, with the exception of Lindsay. I have no complaints with what they did. Her scenes were phenomenal. I want more. I want to see more of Kylie. That's how she says her name, right? Kylie. In real life, is that her name? Kylie Richards.
Kylie Richards, yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Kyle Richards.
I want to see more of her in Ends. Hopefully, we do. But yeah, like Tommy, just I don't know. Like the thing that disappointed me with Tommy in Ends is that you built up this hype for this showdown between Michael and him, and nothing. I mean, literally nothing. He took a couple swings at him, and that was it. Like, there was no payoff to his character, and then he just goes down like a chump. I would have liked. He does. I mean, he really does. I would have liked to have seen.
He does.
Him and Michael going back and forth. Kind of in an old school 80s over the top, slug match. Between each other. Not this fucking thing where the group is beating on him, and then. All of a sudden Michael turns into fucking John Wick and starts fucking taking out the group. It's like, okay, here we go.
Sexy piece of crap.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, would I be disappointed if Ellie were to show up as Rachel in this, as a, still living in town? No, I wouldn't be upset. I would have to accept the fact that it's like you said, it's a confusing thing, because in the Halloween 4 arc, Rachel does say to Jamie, your mother did watch me as a kid. So you can use that line,
sure.
But then everything else is no longer like everything from that. So it's, I get what you're saying.
Imagine Harrison Ford coming back in a Star Wars movie and he isn't Han Solo. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like
I wouldn't be shocked if Disney did that though.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good point. That is a good point. Okay, let me see here. Some super chats. Wow. Okay, we got some that came in here. Let's see. We got Brandon Taylor sends in $9.99. Thank you, buddy. Says, guys, you are amazing. Thoughts on Scream 2022? Word is they are writing Sid out. Word is they are writing Sid out for a new heroine. Well, that would make sense. Not a fan of the idea. Why? When she is the face of the franchise. I mean, it worked for Jamie. Well, but too much of a good thing can be. I mean, we have to understand too that Nev Campbell may not have any interest of continuing
I think that's
to do
what
this.
it is. I don't think that's a thing. I think that's exactly what it is.
So I think this is a passing of the torch.
And I think it's going to be the end of the franchise. He's right in the aspect of that. Sydney, like Ghostface, they kind of go hand in hand together. They are the marriage of this franchise. And if you are going to commit to removing her character out of this, even me, I will have I will, my interest will be there enough to go, I'll watch it when it becomes available to rent. I'm not going to go rushing to this. If knowing that Nev's not going to be in it and it's a passing of the torch type thing, going forward after this one, I probably would be like, okay, like I got 5 movies with her in it. I'm not going to be so anxious to go see, because it's like you said, it's like, I mean, I want to hold back. I want to see the movie first, from what I'm understanding, there's a lot of creative things that they're bringing there's a lot of good vibes to this movie. Like it's calling back to the original because they're going dark with it. They're being very creative with the modern technology, which is what I thought, like, okay, how the fuck are you going to get around that? Because nobody picks up their phone anymore, but I'm seeing what they're doing. I'm like, okay, you've piqued my interest, but removing her out of the it's going to be a hard sell for me. I mean,
I think I would love it, and I don't think they're going to do it, but I personally would love it if, okay, first of all, I think if it were me, this is how I would write it, if the studio would allow me to do it, is I would pick one of the 3 remaining legacy characters, and I would kill them. Now, and I mean not Marvel kill them, I mean, kill them.
Kill them.
They're gone. They don't come back. Okay. And the reason I do that is because it raises the stakes. It's you have to add some weight and bottom. It's not that you kill legacy characters. It's how you do it. Does it serve the story? Does it make sense? Does it add emotional impact and weight? You don't just do it arbitrarily. It's got to make sense. It's got to feel right? It's not that you do it. It's how you do it. And obviously the most expendable, is probably Dewey. He's probably the most expendable.
Yeah.
However, if you really want to shock your audience, you kill Nev. Now, again, it depends on how, because that's something that I might do maybe at like the end, not the beginning, because it's like, oh shit, like what now? And if the rest of the movie is really good, and you end with this fucking epic thing, it's like, oh my God, what now? Like, it's almost like the end of The Empire Strikes Back or something, where it's like, what do we do? We've just lost, we've lost hope. We've lost, the one girl that is sort of that knows it all, that is the light, we lean on her for the info. She's the one that has been there. She knows, and now she's gone. What do you do now? You feel like a fish out of water. All that stuff is great for storytelling. I know we want to see these characters go on and on and on and on, but you either end it or you have to evolve, and you have to understand that sometimes moving on from certain characters and killing them sometimes can be a very powerful thing if you have more to tell. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. It's ballsy. And I don't mean like Jamie Lee Curtis dying in Halloween Resurrection. I mean like really thought out, well-constructed storytelling where you're like, oh my God, no fucking way. Oh shit. What now? Like, this is amazing. It feels so like nobody wants to see her die, but it's so good. It's great, rich storytelling, and that's what's what it's all about, I just don't want to see the same fucking movie over and over again. Come on.
You just brought something up that I totally forgot about, and I'm going to retract one of my comments that I said today earlier on Instagram stories. I said I couldn't figure out or find one good thing about Halloween Resurrection. I take that back. It is the greatest moment in the Halloween franchise, seeing Laurie Strode be killed by Michael Myers. Yeah. So yes, that is the one.
Yeah. Tony's not a fan of Laurie Strode, folks.
No. I want to see that bitch get so caught up in this next movie. I'm going to be sitting back with a cigar, like big old smile on my face. Like, yeah. No, it's not going to happen. It would if I were doing it. Like, sorry, Jamie.
But I actually would love to see. I don't think she's going to die, but I'd be open to it. I think it'd be really cool.
But it can't be just like a death. You know what I mean?
No. It's you go. It's all how you go out.
It's got to be just like Michael got to be earned. Fucking unleashing so much rage on her.
Oh, you're talking about Laurie Strode.
The actual physical act of killing Laurie Strode. Yeah, it's got to be like, yeah. I mean, it's got to be some Jeffrey Dahmer shit. I don't know.
Harry Hagen sends in $5 and says, you think we have it bad? North Korea is putting to death a guy for smuggling in Squid Game on a USB drive by firing squid. So they're reporting. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's awful over there. I haven't watched that show on Netflix. I haven't even taken the time to check it out yet. Anthony Bazzuto sends in $4.99, says, D&T, have you heard about Lethal Weapon 5 in development? Mel taking over directing duties. Isn't Glover pushing 80? Yes, I have heard about this. It makes sense, keeping it in the family. Mel Gibson, obviously an incredibly talented filmmaker in his own right. And if he can keep it together,
and he
isn't
was doing the sequel to Passion of the Christ right now.
I thought he was. I heard something about that too. Whatever that would be. What, Jesus' resurrection? He comes back.
Well, the book, not resurrection. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, it's resurrection. It's the resurrection revelations. It's the ending.
Right. Maybe he is. I'm not sure, but he is apparently going to be directing Lethal Weapon 5. And I think it's just a straight to streaming thing, which is probably the best thing for that. And yeah, hey Google.
Well, look, Danny Glover may be old, but Mel Gibson, have you seen him? Dude is in shape.
He's 75.
He's jacked.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to say the same thing to people about Lethal Weapon 5. Temper your expectations. There's going to be nostalgia, no doubt, probably. And just take it as it is. It's a sequel to Lethal Weapon 4 25 years later. I don't understand these people that, I don't know. I thought Ghostbusters Afterlife was fantastic.
Yeah, don't say anything. I'm seeing it this weekend.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to say.
Don't. Yeah. I've heard nothing but great shit. Everyone's
good stuff.
They're like, if you like the original, you're going to love this. So
yeah,
which is probably true because the critics hate it for that reason.
Well, so, yeah, like I equate it to what The Force Awakens did for Star Wars. So they took a step back to go forward to get things back on track. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I understand there were people that didn't like The Force Awakens. I understand there were people that thought they played it too safe. But the vitriol, this new era of Star Wars vitriol, didn't come into existence until after The Last Jedi. I think for the most part, people had a great time with The Force Awakens. They understood why it had to be the way it was, and they were excited to see where it would go. And then The Last Jedi happened. That's my opinion. Is
that you missed the greatest opportunity to have the Core 3 back on screen again.
For sure.
I'll never understand.
For sure. And there was and that is something that was a missed opportunity for sure. But I think you're going to like. I think you're going to really.
That's
really
what everyone.
Like
that's the ones who have seen it. They're like, dude, it's right up your alley because you're into your whole 80s and you. Yeah, that's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, yeah, you'll like it.
And I like Paul Rudd. I have nothing to,
No, he's great in the movie.
In him, just him as an actor, I like him. I like the shit that he does. He's good, and whatever he does. Yeah, so cool. How about the Stranger Things kid? Isn't he in that one too? The Stranger Things kid? He is. He's not. He's more of a side character, I'd say. He's not. It really follows McKenna Grace's character, and that's Egon's granddaughter, right?
Granddaughter. That's right. It's really more focused on her, and she does a tremendous job. Finn Wolfhard's in it. I mean, he's there. He's the brother. He plays a kid named Trevor, I think. And he's good. I mean, he's serviceable, but he's not in front and center like he is in Stranger Things.
Hey, speaking of Stranger Things, I heard that they're doing a spinoff with her and only her.
Millie Bobby Brown, really? Oh,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that.
The hell is that going to be? 12? It's going to be called 12?
15.
Tony Movie Chappie D9 Neil Blumkamp, #1 fan, sends in $9.99. Thank you, buddy. Says, Dave and Tony, question. Do you guys think all directors should have creative freedom control on their movies? Or do you think there should be some oversight from the producers?
No. Producers ruin shit.
In a perfect world, I'd agree with Tony. Right. But it's not so black and white, right? Like but I agree. I mean, in a perfect world, you keep the non-creatives out of it, and you let the filmmakers make what they want to make.
Yeah, now, you're a producer. Worry about getting the film marketed and getting us the money that we need to complete the movie. That's it. That's your job. Don't worry about creatively what the fuck I'm doing. And too many cooks in the kitchen ends up ruining it. I mean, look at all of the horror genre. I mean, perfect example of, you know, especially like Friday the 13th, you know, when more we're going to try this. Oh, we're going to try this. Like, yeah. And look what you fucking did. You created dog shit for half of the franchise.
Yeah. And it comes down to something we have to remember too, is that a lot of producers are filmmakers and they are very film savvy, and they may have made films themselves, directed films themselves. So when you're at the producing level, like you're a producer, not necessarily an executive producer, although there are a lot of executive producers that have made films too. And so it's not really the producers that get in the way, although producers can, there can be a battle between the director and the producer for, you know, creative sort of input and things like that. But a lot of the times when you're working at the studio level and you're making films at the studio level, it's the studios, it's the suits, it's the studio executives, it's the, you know, this is where sort of a lot of the battles take place with marketing, with distribution, what gets cut, what doesn't. A lot of the times you get people that haven't made a movie and, you know, because they're thinking very differently. They're looking at very different things, and it can be a struggle. It can be a real struggle, and it's a catch-22. I mean, that's why a lot of filmmakers sort of bite the bullet, because, you know, when you're making films for studios, you don't have to worry about money, and you know, you can make a movie, and depending on the relationship you have, and depending on sort of how you play the game, because it's a big game, you know, maybe you don't get everything you want, or you don't get to do everything you want, but you get to do 90% of what you want. On the independent,
sort of like what happened with Bob Shea and Wes Craven on the original. They butted heads all. Lots.
They did. Yeah, they did.
First Elm Street, you know,
they
like,
did. Yeah.
I will say, I will retract some of what I said regarding producers sticking their nose. Like, look, I get it that Bob Shea, it was his idea to do Nancy running up the stairs, and the stairs, her feet getting stuck in the stairs. Great. And that's a great scene. But I think Wes's original idea of how the movie ended was better than what we got with the whole, you know,
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
What was Wes's original ending for it? What did he want to do?
I think it's just the top flips up or whatever, and they just drive off. Like the car.
And there's no jump scare, right?
No.
And it's just the girls, the jump roping and the song.
Yeah, because the jump scare is not needed, because it's clearly communicated to the audience that Freddy is still there, you know, by the color of the roof on the convertible and the girls jumping rope. 1, 2, Freddy.
Right, that's it. Yeah,
it's clearly communicated. You know,
I think that's perfect.
That's all you need. Yeah, that's all you need. So producers, you know, it depends on who the producer is. It depends on the relationship you have with the producer. Some directors will have great relationships with their producers. It depends on your seniority. I mean, you know, Nolan, Spielberg, and Scorsese would have a much more impact and say than, you know, me. You know, so that, you know, that said something too, but it really is sort of, you know, a lot.
Just imagine being a producer going up to Christopher Nolan. I think you should change that. Okay.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, they get the last say. And if Nolan wants them to distribute their movies, like, well, you do it, or I don't give a fuck who you are. The key is that when you establish yourself and you develop a history and you develop a success, then the studios tend to let you do more of what you want to do, because you've proven to be successful doing what you do, right? It's a game, but it can be, you know, and a lot of these decisions are made by committee, you know, which can be really difficult for some of these filmmakers. It depends on who you are and who you're working with. Some studios like to meddle more than others. I mean, maybe you get a lot of meddling from, you know, Warner Brothers, but not so much from Sony, or you get some from Paramount, but not so much from Universal. You know what I mean? Like, it all depends. It's not black and white. There's a lot of variables at play, but just know that, yes, in a perfect world, every director, every filmmaker that is boots on the ground making a movie, has written a script, the ultimate goal is to have full creative control and freedom. The problem is when you're making movies that cost millions and millions of dollars, and the studios have bottom lines, and they have things they want to see and things they want to get out there and patterns they're following and sequels they want to potentially set up and make and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes a lot of filmmakers will bite the bullet and do things they don't ordinarily want to do, because it means, well, if I don't do this, they're not going to distribute my film, or they're going to fire me, or they're going to look for somebody else, or they're not going to make my movie at all. I mean, Frank Darabont had to fight with the studio to say, I want The Mist to end this way, or I don't fucking make this movie. And, you know, Frank Darabont at that time had directed arguably two of the greatest films ever made in The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. So obviously there was a little bit of that, well, okay, I guess, you know what I mean? But if I tried to do that, they'd say, Dave McRae, go fuck yourself. And I wouldn't have been able to do that. So again, I'm giving a Cliff Notes thing, but just know that yes, in a perfect world, absolutely 100% they would want that. But sometimes producers who are overseeing certain things, if they're good at their job, they can suggest things, recommend things, pick up on things that maybe has been overlooked, and they can sometimes save a production and save a project as well. That has happened. That happens more than you think. So it's, you know, it's not black and white.
Hey, I'm going to put it on hold for a minute because I have family in town. My brother's about to leave. I'm going to say bye to him.
Oh, yeah, go right ahead. I'll
really
continue.
I don't know if you, just keep it on and I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Go on. Get the fuck out of here, you piece of... No, I'm just kidding. All right. Tony will be back. The Neighborhood sends in $4.99, says, what are some of your favorite horror comedies? Do you think the blending of these two genres typically works well, or does it often fall flat? Well, I think when it's self-aware that it definitely is a horror comedy, like House, I really like House, or Shaun of the Dead, or there's a bunch of others out there. I don't watch horror comedy all that often. Like the first one that popped into my head was House, and I know if you're of a certain age that probably seems weird. I think as long as the movie knows exactly what it is, doesn't try to play it too safe, doesn't try to be too serious, I would say that yes, that I enjoy it. But it's not a genre that I typically watch on the regular. But I would say off the top of my head, House is probably my favorite horror comedy that's come to me right now off the top of my head. Light Valley Home sends in $1. Thank you very much, Light Valley. Really appreciate that. Let's see. Light Valley Home follows up with $5. Says, my first super chat. Big fan, Dave and Tony. What is your favorite part about being YouTube hosts? And how did you get your start in film and voice acting? Well, I'll let Tony answer that. I'm sure he'll appreciate that as well. How did I get my start in film and voice acting? Oh, boys, that's a long one. The Cliff Notes version. I always wanted to make movies, be in the film industry and make movies. I went to school for film. I studied film in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then I also wanted to be an on-camera actor. So I got into that. I got an agent in Toronto, and I did some docudramas and corporate videos and some commercials. And then I fell into the voiceover side of things, and I never looked back. And my career as a voice actor sort of took off. So, you know, I never had any formal training. I sort of come from that kind of a family. I come from a very sort of extroverted, loud, fun sort of family. So I've always had a natural talent for performing and talking and communicating and acting and all that kind of stuff. So it's already in me. You know, you don't have to twist my arm, as they say, to get me to do anything where I'm performing in front of people. So, and voiceover is voice acting. It's acting. It's just behind a microphone. So I started doing that in the early 2000s, and then I've been full-time. I've been a full-time voice actor now since 2006. So that's 15 years, over 15 years now. And I have two agents here in Toronto. One agent is for my commercial promo and trailer side, and then I have a separate agent for animation as well. Yeah, and then of course the filmmaking. Now the filmmaking is what I've just started to pay more attention to. That's what I wanted to do first and foremost, was my love of making movies. And then of course, you know, you plan to do something, but it doesn't turn out that way. And so when I turned 40 years old a couple of years ago, the whole It's Me Billy thing and all that, and I wanted to sort of finally make movies on a professional level, make movies professionally, because that's what I wanted to do 20 years ago. So I'm now, just for the first time in my life, really paying attention to it and really trying to hone in on it. And my buddy Bruce, who's worked in the film industry for 20 years, decided to jump on board as well, because he's a visual artist and a filmmaker, and he's done a bunch of stuff. And we're working together right now on something that we hope we can share with you guys soon, which is really exciting. We're really excited about it. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is for me anyway. And how do I like being a YouTube host? I don't mind it. I mean, I didn't jump on YouTube to build a channel or to be a host. I just kind of used it as sort of to vent and talk about Halloween. And then it's just kind of turned into this little community, which I think is a lot of fun. And I really enjoy it. I try not to pigeonhole myself into talking about Halloween all the time. I understand that, I have grown to prominence here on this channel and on YouTube talking Halloween. But I understand, and I understand that that's where sort of most of the interest lies. But I hope that people will tune in for me talking about other things as well, because there's more to talk about than just Halloween. But I enjoy it. I've met a lot of cool people. I've been surprised by certain people that have reached out to me, certain people who work in the industry, certain people that would surprise you even. And so that's been cool. I've made some really cool friends and fostered some really cool relationships, both professionally and personally on YouTube as well. So that, if anything, that's probably been the most cool thing about it. I'm not a big enough channel for it to be a source of real income in terms of a job. So it really is just a hobby, and I just I enjoy it, and I love you guys, and I think that we've built a really cool community here, talking movies and whatever is on our mind. So that's really awesome. So I'll move on here, but I'll come back to this and let Tony answer that as well. Southpaw82 sends in $2 and says, please stop with the Predator films also. It's over. Yeah, Predator's been kind of... Yeah. What really should have happened is that they should have done a Predator 2 or a Predator 3 in the 90s with Arnold. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? I guess they could still kind of do that, but it's way past its expiry date. Movie Chat and More sends in £5 and says, watched Duel. Now Christine just jumped on to say hi, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Well, same to you, Richard, over at Movie Chat and More. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and happy holidays. Duel, it was Steven Spielberg's first movie. Love that movie. And now he's on to Christine. That's awesome. Two really good movies right there. Okay, I think I got all the super chats so far, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go and see here. I believe I have got all the super chats. I think I have. Okay, good. Cool. Let me see if I can get a non-super chat one here. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, geez, I got to scroll down. Where are we here? MAGA Cat says, where's Dylan's new nightmare? Well, it's still in, it hasn't happened yet because of COVID, as you know. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I'm in Canada, of course, and the borders were closed for a long period of time. The borders have just recently opened, but now, of course, there's this new variant that seems to be coming from South Africa that is sort of causing issues. The plan is to shoot Dylan's new nightmare next year. That's the plan. So hopefully maybe first part of next year, maybe like March, April, May, somewhere in there, hopefully. It's touch and go. But it hasn't been canceled or anything. It's just, because Dylan's New Nightmare is a film that is, being professionally made and shot, they have to follow the rules and regulations as it relates to on-set health and safety protocols as it relates to COVID-19. I mean, this is not just something you can get together with your friends and shoot in your backyard and nobody gives a shit, right? So it's, it has suffered the same delay as the professional films. Now, the only reason why there's an extra delay is, well, because of me. I mean, let's be honest, it's because I'm in Canada and I couldn't get to the States. And there's a whole thing around that. There's a health and safety around that as well. So, but it is still on the table. Unimpressive Media says, hey, Dave, may I ask whatever became of Breathing Port Robinson? I understand it was a sort of companion piece to your planned feature. It sounded very interesting. Breathing Port Robinson, was a little documentary I shot with Bruce in 2008. We released it in 2009. We screened it at a festival in Hamilton here in Canada. And I still have it. It's not on YouTube, but I do have it. It really hasn't been digitized. So I'd have to find it and see if I can get it on YouTube. But it's around. It's around. Tony is back. Welcome back.
I am back. Yeah, I had family in town for the week for holidays. We had Thanksgiving here.
Yeah.
Everyone's starting to take off and leave, so I want to say bye to my brother, my mother, and all.
No problem at all. Here, I want you to answer this. I've already answered it, so I'll let you answer it here. Light Valley Home sent in $5. Says my first super chat. Big fan, Dave and Tony. What is your favorite part about being YouTube hosts, and how did you get your start in film and voice acting? And I'll change that for you. How did you get your start in photography? So how do you like being a YouTube host, and how did you get your start in photography?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a YouTube host, but I would say I'm more of a YouTube guest because I'm only on YouTube once a week with Dave on Dave's channel.
That's true. But you're a co-host.
A co-host, I guess, but it's your channel, so I wouldn't really consider myself a YouTuber, and I don't even want to consider myself an Instagrammer because I try to, with the exception of my general photography on my country page, the photos that I take, I try not to do what's typically done on Instagram because I don't want to be viewed as an Instagrammer.
Is that what they're called? Instagrammer?
Instagrammer, yeah. Speaking of Instagram,
and I guess if you get to a certain amount, you're an influencer, right? I mean, you have over 11,000 followers on Instagram. Would you be considered an influencer then in a certain space?
I just like, I love the genre and I love being able to, I mean, because there is going to be a certain point where I'm going to get to be too old to do this stuff. And that's not no, I mean, it's not even a very far away. I mean, I can't imagine me doing shoots like this in my 50s. I really can't. So, I've got the window of me being, the window for me to create this stuff is really, really short. However, I will say,
by the way, folks, I know Tony looks 25. He's 42. Just so you know, and that's not hyper. He actually is. We're the same age.
I'm ancient. I'm a million years old. But we were around when the Titanic was sailing. We're that old type of jokes. But no, actually, what I do want to say though, really quick, is I want to thank a lot of you guys for helping me out here because I finally went public with my business, my real estate photography business, and you guys were really cool to help me on my Instagram account, even though it's not horror pictures.
Yeah, your photos are fucking amazing.
But you guys got the concept of what I was doing just to try to get the account established, get me to 100 followers. You don't have to like it, you're just there to create that presence that I needed so that I can start building, because that's really the turn that my business now, to go back to the photography question, like when I started taking pictures when I was a kid, and just basically, I mean, I've shared the photos online, of me at 3 years old taking pictures and shit. So I'm sort of self-taught when it comes to that. And for most of my career, it was just mostly industrial and corporate photography, and with the occasional events, like I did stuff for Industrial Light, ILM, and different types of events that would happen here in Atlanta. Then COVID came and fucking changed everything around like everyone else. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, what am I going to be doing here? Because real estate photography really was only meant to just kind of create that extra income on a monthly. It was never, I never intended it to be like, okay, this is going to be my fucking lifeboat. And now it's my fucking lifeboat, because even though things have gone back to normal, it's a different type of normal. It's not the same. Like, they're not doing big events, so that's gone. And a lot of the companies that I was once doing a lot of this work for, and their website pictures and all that, they went out of business. I mean, just a lot of people, and it's not. I'm not the only one who's been impacted by it, but thankfully, I had a couple of agents that I was doing a lot of work with that was enough for me so that I had something there to say, okay, this is it. I've got to, and like we were talking privately, like if you get yourself grounded in the real estate photography market, it's big money. It's big business. Oh, for sure. I'm just kind of playing catch up right now. And you guys helped me. You guys got on there. You followed me. You got me to the 100. Now the rest is up to me. I've set a goal between now and next year to get to 1,000, but that's up to me now. You guys got me to the mark that I needed, and now I just got to keep pushing out the work on there. Because I get it. Look, when I share the horror pictures because we're all fans of the genre, I know I'm going to get, you know, a lot of likes and a lot of positive comments and stuff like that. And I like the fact that everyone's loving this, the vintage black and white style that I've been doing in Photoshop here lately.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It does. It's a cool look. It's a different look. I don't think you know, because some people have asked me, like, would I do a Friday the 13th fan film like that? I don't think I could get it because you got to understand photography, you know, film versus to video film, even like digitally and making that conversion. It's not going to look like that. You know what I mean? Like it'll be I could probably do a Friday the 13th fan film in black and white, but it's not going to look like my photos. You know what I mean? It would look sort of, I guess, grainy would be the best way that I could do it.
Right.
Kind of Night of the Living Dead-ish, I guess. But even then, Night of the Living Dead, when you look at it now, it has more of a polished look because they've gone back and re-edited it. But if you watch the original black and white on VHS, it's really just more of a grainy look. My photos have more of a old expired film look. That's what and it just, you know, it took me a while to figure out how to do that in Photoshop by actually looking at my old black and white photos and just side by side going, okay, I'm getting close to the tones. I'm getting close to, you know, and then just, you know, getting, when people ask me like, well, how do I get like all the scratches and stuff on it? It's just textures. It's just taking photographs of just anything, the ground, the concrete, anything that I can take a photograph of to create a texture. And then I take that texture and I put it in as an overlay. And that's basically the trick that creates all the, it's really not hard. It takes you, if you're willing to spend the time to teach yourself and spend, you know, and learn how to, it's like I said, you need a good found the other day on Instagram when people ask me like, well, why do my black and white photos don't look as good as yours? If you're going to shoot black and white, lighting is such a fucking key factor. You need to have hard and like, you know, for example, when Jessica, right? That's her. No, not her. What's her name? Your actress there in It to Be Billy. The lead.
Victoria.
When if you guys have seen Dave's fan film, when she's picking up the phone like that and how they lit that scene, I could take that and bring that into because of how they lit that scene. However, I can't take the same image of that actress and when they're in the car and it's daytime and create the same type of photos because I have no hard shadows there.
Right.
So when you're sending me photos, like I can't understand why my black and white photos are not, because you need a lot of hard light, but you also need a lot of hard shadows to create for your black and white images to pop like that. So when you take Victoria and you put her in that scene in the house and she's picking up the phone, you've got a very simple spotlight. Well, I'm sure there was not a simple spotlight, but it's basically in the photography terms, it's a spotlight on your source with a lot of shadows in there. And therefore, if Dave were to convert that into a black and white, in fact, you should just for shits and giggles, I'd be curious to see what that would look like.
Yeah, I could do that.
Convert it into a black and white photo. But
I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I got started. It's basically self-taught and, you know, here we are and we're doing,
two dudes and some feces.
That's it every week.
Cody Snyder sends in $5, says, you and Bruce going to do a follow-up to Haddonfield Reaper? No. There's no need to. And you know, that was fun. I forgot about that. We shot that in 2018. That was, we just did that on a spur of the moment. We just shot that on my cell phone. We just wanted to put something together that was really quick. But now that we've done It's Me, Billy, and, you know, we've shot on, not that we can't shoot something small on, like, you know, a DSLR or, you know, whatever, even a higher end one, like, you know, what Tony has, which can shoot great fucking shit. We've sort of, the one of the purposes of doing It's Me, Billy was, of course, was to absolutely deliver something really cool for you guys and, you know, all that kind of stuff, but was to challenge ourselves and to create a professional piece of work that can be used as a calling card and that, you know, was something that you can use because it's been presented and made at a certain level. So now, you know, because we've established ourselves that we can make something at this level, we want to continue to make stuff at that level because that's the idea, right? You hit a certain level and you don't want to go back. You want to continue to go forward and up. And so, you guys should do a black and white.
Not with Billy, but with just something in general, you know,
Yeah.
like a black and white short. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we might do something like that. Well, like I said, I mean, I've been very sort of hush hush. There's something that Bruce and I are working on right now, and it's a pitch. It's a well, actually, I think it's still part of that. We're still at that phase. It's a pitch / treatment, and it is for somebody. I can't. Well, I wasn't told that I can't say who. Myself and Bruce have chosen not to say anything at the moment because not because we've been told not to, but because we don't want to put the cart before the horse. So we don't want to say too much before we're in a position where it looks like this is going to happen, because it's still not there yet. There's a lot of, there are a lot of stories and a lot of films that enter the development stage, whether it's entering a treatment stage or, a pitch stage or even a script stage, that never see the light of day for a variety of reasons. I mean, studios greenlight stuff all the time. Yes, we really want to do that, or maybe not, fully greenlight to move into pre-production, but we'll say like, show me a script, write me a script, whatever it is. And they can get to that point, where you have a script and the studio likes it or whatever. And for whatever reason, it doesn't come to fruition. There's a lot of variables at play with that kind of stuff. So we're sort of in that position. There is something we're working on. We're really excited about it. We think you guys will be really excited about it, but we don't want to say, we're getting closer to a point where we might feel we can say something about it, but we don't want to say anything yet because we're still in a position where what we're working on could happen just as easily as it could not happen. It's 50-50 at the moment. You know what I mean?
That's filmmaking in general.
Exactly. So we want to be a little further ahead. But I can tell you what we're working on, and is exciting. It's fun. It's exciting. I think I told you a little bit about it, right? Off camera, I think.
A little bit, but
I think I did.
Yeah, you haven't told me the full details. But
No, but I think I told. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and of course, this is the direct result because of It's Me, Billy. So I'm not saying now. Let me first say because I just realized as soon as I said that the rumor mill is going to start. Let me first say no. It is not a Black Christmas remake. It is not a Black Christmas sequel. Let me just say that that's not. It's not, what I mean by it is a direct result because of It's Me, Billy. It's a direct result because somebody looked at it and went, "Wow,
hey,
that's what
we can
I'm
work
saying.
with these guys."
Yeah, like if you can do that with this. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by that, right? So, and that's why you do that kind of stuff, not that we're against rebooting Black Christmas or doing whatever the case is. I mean, our phone is on. But yeah, I just want to say before the rumor mill starts, no, it's not that.
Look, here's what happened. Dave and we did a seance one night. We resurrected Wes Craven from the dead, and Dave and Wes Craven are doing a project together.
That's it. We are Wes Craven. He's actually sitting on my couch out there right now, having some apple pie.
Exactly.
And
he's looking like the Crypt Keeper, but that's okay.
He is, but that's all right. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing.
What happens when you're dead for a few years?
That's exactly it. Happy Sanjo sends in $5. Says, Tony, if you had the money right now to do a dream photo shoot, what would that be? If you could tackle a shoot that's not feasible now, what would it be? That's a great question.
One. No longer working with prima donnas. Inside joke. No, actually, gotcha. There is some truth to that. Because I am definitely taking I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff on Instagram, but 2022 comes around. I'm only going to be working with a handful of girls from now on, because y'all don't even know. Like I think that's how I ended up bald, because the stress that I have to deal with of the stupidity at times with some of these individuals that I've collaborated with on shoots and their entitlement and their lack of respect for what I'm trying to do. I understand. And I've even said this to Dave. I'm very difficult to shoot with. I get where Kubrick is coming from at times because, well, one, I'm putting all my money into this photo shoot, you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, what a girl isn't doing isn't just as important. It is, but at the end of the day, I can literally teach any girl off the street how to pose in a horror shoot. You know what I mean? Like, and because most of the girls that I've worked with, we're not talking like these are, you know, not award winning, but published models where they're in all these, you know, what are the magazines out there? Vogue, Marie Claire, all these. This is not what we're talking about. You know, most of the girls that I do get are the girls who look like they can be your average everyday girl next door. I purposely go for that look because I want it to look more real. If I shoot with a model, I just feel like I'm shooting with a model next to the horror character, and it lacks that authenticity. But in dealing with that, you get these girls sometimes who think their egos are so far out here that they can just do whatever the hell that they want with the photo that you've created with them and not respect what you've, you know, the work that you've put into this photo. So I am making a conscious effort that from now on, no matter who the shoot is with, that I'm going to be working with people who respect what I'm doing and understand what I'm doing, and yeah, like don't get so butthurt so easily. And
so what would be your dream photo shoot? Just not to work with, like, if
just honestly, just to work with good, reliable people. Like I told you this month alone, like I bought a brand new fucking mask. I spent $350 on this fucking thing. And I've had girls that I've wanted to work with flake on me. Like that's the frustrating part, that you, like, when people are like, how come you don't, you know, post with new girls? Like, it's not of a lack of trying. It's the fact that, for example, 2 weeks ago, a week before Thanksgiving, I had an appointment set up on a Saturday to meet with the girl that I had shared on Instagram, who was going to be working with me, her and her brother. We had to do some fitting because her brother was going to dress as Michael. So I had to make sure, you know, which jumpsuit he was going to fit in. Texted her in the morning, said, hey, let me know what time we're meeting up. It was just a fitting. It wasn't like we needed to spend hours doing it. It would take me 30 minutes and we'd be done. Don't hear from her all day. Finally, I get a message at 6 o'clock at night. Oh, I'm not feeling too good, blah, blah, blah. And then she's going to do it by sending me selfies and like with the puffy eyes to sell that she's not feeling too good. And I wanted to respond and say, listen, girl, you're talking to the king of
puffy eyes, not feeling good, or
no, the guy who got out of going to school because he wasn't feeling well often, okay, and pulling a fast one on my parents and all that stuff. So like, yeah, you basically flaked on me, and I don't play that game. And you're done. I didn't even respond, because once you flake on me like that and you try to pull some bullshit thing of I'm not feeling well, I'm done. The second girl that I was trying to schedule a shoot with this month said she was going to do it. We had it on the calendar for the 28th. Everything was unlocked, fucking vanished. Like, didn't even hear from her again. So like, these are the frustrating things that I have to deal with, which is why at times I'm just posing pictures of just the character by themselves, because it's a lot fucking easier to do that than to get one of these girls who tell me they want it. They are the ones who reach out to me and say like, I want to do this. And then I'm stuck like literally trying to figure out like, you know, where are these people at? Like, you know, putting together, coordinating the outfits, sending them ideas, asking them to send me some selfies of like, you know, them dressed in the outfits that they're going to be wearing. So I get an idea of, you know, of how their outfit's going to look. So how is it a dark clothing? Is it light clothing? Cause that's all important to how I'm going to light them in a situation with the character. Right. Either it's going to be, you know, like with the exception of Val, who's one of the girls that you see me post frequently a lot, like, she was the one I posted the Chainsaw Massacre shoot. She was the one I did I'm choking her in the Sackhead Jason shoot. She's one of my most reliable ones. Never had an issue. And this is a mom of two with a husband and all this shit. And this girl's always,
how old is she?
Like 27, 28.
Oh, okay. All right. If you had said like 35 to 40, I'd be like, well, that's why. age.
No, 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 no. She's just one of these people who, you know, if she's going to plan something with me, she's going to commit to it and she's going to stick to it. Like I always tell her and joke with her and her husband, I'm like, I wish I could make a carbon copy of your wife in like 3 of them, because she's that always just
a few different ways.
Well, no, he understood what I meant by it, because
I know.
whenever we're together and we're hanging out, because I am friends with him and her, you know, outside of doing the shoots,
right.
She knows, she sees the frustration on my face because I so badly want to create this content for you guys, and I'm putting all this energy into to organizing these shoots, only to just deal with this dumb bullshit of, you know, trying to get these girls organized to fucking do the shoot and shit. And it's just like, oh, so 2022, I'm gonna really go through a thorough screening process, and it's just gonna, I don't care if it's 2 girls, but plus Val, because Val, I give you know, because she's a mom, 2 kids, whenever she can do it, I'm just like, you tell me when, and we'll do it. So what is somebody living or dead who you'd love to photograph? I would love to get it to a point, honestly, like even if like Daniel Harris and Scout and all of them were to be like, hey, dude, we love the photos you do. We'd love to do a fucking Halloween themed shoot with you. Like, and I wouldn't even want to be paid. I wouldn't even want to be paid for it, because just to do something like that, you know what I mean? Just for fun. And yeah, I would fucking do that. And like any of them, like, and I don't care who it is, anybody from the horror genre, anybody who maybe reliable.
Do you want our viewers to tag them saying, hey, get this guy to photo you?
Maybe you guys can like jump on my Instagram and start tagging me on their accounts. Be like, you know, y'all two need to hook up with this dude and create some fucking magical photos.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Like,
there
just
you
as
go,
a
viewers.
collab. Because the whole point of this.
There you go, viewers, right now. 555. Boob.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All 120 of you guys out there watching us. I mean,
hey, but there's going to be viewers after.
Yeah, I know. No, I hear you. It takes a little bit of word of mouth and a little thing and whatnot. The whole point of me doing these photos to begin with was to do it for fun, and it's become so stressful dealing with some of the dumb shit behind the scenes that I've had to deal with, and especially with prima donna girls and fucking weird boyfriends who claim to be this big time photographer, and then they get caught out and they're not, and it's just like, what the fuck, like, hey.
Material girls. So yeah. But somebody who is somebody that is dead, some famous person in history, somebody that is passed that you would love to photograph.
Right there.
Oh, there you go.
She's right behind me.
There she is. Audrey Hepburn.
I'm Audrey Hepburn in her prime. Like, yeah, like
she was beautiful. Yeah, no doubt about that.
No doubt about that.
No doubt about that, ladies and gentlemen. Very cool. Let's see here. Julian Salgado sends in $5. Says, what's up, fellas? Tickets for Spider-Man went on sale this morning at 12:01 a.m. and all major sites crashed and wouldn't work. I luckily got mine. Well, that's good. I'm glad you got yours.
Is that the Tom Holland one?
That's the Spider-Man No Way Home, where there's rumors that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in it because of the multiverse thing, because their villains from their movies are in it, like the Green Goblin and Doc Ock or whatever the fuck his name is, the same actors, and William Dafoe is reprising his role, but they haven't shown Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire in any of the marketing, and everyone thinks it's the worst kept secret in Hollywood, but they're like, they think they're gonna be in it. I don't know. Whatever the case is, I don't know. It's great stuff.
Hey, you know what movie I haven't really no interest in seeing that. I'm not really into these movies other than like Batman stuff, but you know what I just watched that was really good with Andrew Garfield, the kid's name.
Oh, the big zippity zip or whatever it's called.
No,
Netflix.
No, it's an older movie because I get HBO Max through my phone service provider, and Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, Hacksaw Ridge is great.
That's a fucking great.
That was directed by.
I didn't realize that was a true story too.
Yeah, and that was directed by Mel Gibson.
Good old Mel.
Yeah, I think he was even I think Mel was nominated for that
I'm
directing
surprised.
Something. I think, did Andrew Garfield win an Academy Award for that, or did he just get nominated for that? I can't remember.
He should have won. Kid he gave a great performance.
That was it was great. He's a talented dude. He's a talented actor. There's a movie right now on Netflix. I forget what it's called. Chat room, let us know what it is. Andrew Garfield's in it. It's called like Zippity Zip Bip Bip or something. I don't know. It's not called that, but it's got a funky name like that, like Tip Tip and a Bip Bip or something. Chat room, let me know. It's on Netflix right now.
Isn't it like based on something true?
I think so, but I could be wrong. Andrew Garfield is 38 years old, but he's playing somebody who's in his late 20s, and he's this musical genius or something, piano or something like that. It's currently on Netflix right now.
Yeah. He's playing the guy who wrote the musical Rent.
Oh, is he? Okay.
It's the guy who wrote the musical Rent. So that's who's. Yes.
Tick tick boom.
Tick tick boom.
Tick tick boom. Zippity zip bip bip.
Have you seen that?
I think no, I haven't. I think the title should be Zippity zip.
No, not the Garfield movie, but have you seen the musical Rent? Have you seen
Garfield? I didn't say Garfield. Who said that?
No, I know you didn't see that the Tick Tick Boom.
Oh, Garfield! I thought you meant Garfield the cat for a minute.
No, I was asking, have you seen the what the movie's based on? Have you seen Rent?
I have not seen the movie Rent. However, I did see the play when it first hit the scene in the late 90s. I had the soundtrack. I bought the soundtrack on CD. It was a class field trip to New York City. And I was in one of my last year, I think it was my last year of high school. It was a drama class field trip. We took the big coach bus down to New York for like 6 or 7 days. And we saw Lion King on Broadway and we saw Rent on Broadway.
I only know the one song there. What's it?
600 minutes.
Yeah, that one. That's the only one I remember.
Yeah,
I remember it being really popular during our late years in high school, and like everyone Rent. I'm like,
it was huge. It was huge.
And they're like, oh, okay.
So that's what that movie's about. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I still think it should be called Zippity Zip Bip Bip, and just call it that. Did you guys see the Andrew Garfield movie Zippity Zip Bip Bip?
Zip, zip, bip. Zip, bip.
Tick tick boom boom.
Oh man, I wish I was here for that question. Fuck.
What question's that?
Well,
answer it.
Have you ever seen your dad in a physical fight? Yeah, with me.
What? Who? What? Who? Was that a super chat or just a random chat?
Did you not get that one? That was a super chat.
When?
It was from Valium. I love the name. Valium.
From Valium?
$2 super chat. Have you ever seen your dad in a
no, I did not get that super chat. Thank you so much, Valium. $2. Appreciate that. He's just said came
Good
back.
Good thing I came back to it.
I never saw. Did you? So you and your dad got into a fist fight?
Nah, I'm joking. No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I saw him and my uncle get pretty close. They got into a heated one Easter. It's just a typical Italian gypsy family for you.
Zippity zip bip bip.
Yeah, a lot of that bullshit. But, just politics. My family's very, very, very political and very divided on politics. I can't even imagine what it's like. I haven't been back home since Trump was elected, and I can't even imagine what it's been like. And it was a heated, like they literally got up out of their chairs and nose to nose. I'm like, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. That's about as close as I've ever seen. Have you ever seen your dad get into
No. I don't think my dad. I don't know. I mean, I don't think my dad did. Certainly not in his adult. I mean, I'm sure there was quite a few people that wanted to get into a fight with my father. But I don't.
Remember you told me about that the rumble with John Lennon and Paul McCartney. They had a tag. It was Earl McRae.
That's right. Versus John Lennon
and Ringo Starr versus John Lennon and Paul McCartney and special guest referee George Harrison.
That's it. I remember. No, I think my dad though.
That's where Vince McMahon came up with the idea of WWF because of that.
Yeah, it was in the 70s. I think it was in Toronto. I can't remember if it was George Chuvalo or Phil Esposito. One of George Chuvalo, for those of you who don't know, he's probably in his late 70s now. He's a very famous Canadian heavyweight
That was
boxer.
Such a Canadian thing to say. The way you said that.
No, it's not though. It's not. I don't know why I said it like that.
Is that a boot?
A boot. He's a very famous Canadian heavyweight boxer. Nobody says Canadian. Nobody says that here. He was a very famous Canadian heavyweight boxer, world champion, who in his 90-something fights was never knocked down. and he fought Muhammad Ali twice. And although he did not beat Muhammad Ali, the 2 fights he fought with him went both to a decision. And there was a fight that I believe it was in Toronto where he went the distance. Muhammad Ali went to the hospital afterwards because he was bleeding from his kidneys.
Is that where Stallone got the idea for Rocky?
No. Stallone got the idea for Rocky, I think, from a Joe Frazier fight, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But George Chuvalo, who I met about 10 years ago with my dad, because my dad was friends with him. And my dad came to Toronto one day and he's like, do you want to go hang out with George Chuvalo? And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, all right.
Yeah.
So
no, of course not.
No, of course not. So we got together for lunch and we went to a lunch, and he's one of those old, like, I mean, he fought in the 50s, you know what I mean? The 60s. And his hands are like catcher's mitts.
So he fought like around when Marciano was fighting.
Yeah, like George Chuvalo. Right? Yeah, oh yeah. And when
I can't remember when Marciano retired. Was it in the 50s or 40s?
I can't remember. When I went to George Chuvalo's house, he was born in 37, so he's still alive. What is he? I guess he's 84 now. Wow, he's 84. It says George Chuvalo is a Canadian former professional boxer who was a 5-time Canadian heavyweight champion and 2-time world heavyweight title challenger. Yeah, he fought.
What's a world title challenger?
Well, that would mean that he fought for the heavyweight title twice, which would have been Muhammad Ali. Chuvalo is known for having never been knocked down in his 93-bout professional career, including fights against Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and George Foreman. So George Foreman and Joe Frazier could not knock down George Chuvalo.
Those are some serious heavyweights.
Yeah, Chuvalo unsuccessfully challenged Muhammad Ali for the heavyweight title in 1966. Chuvalo was inducted into the Ontario Sports Hall of Fame in 1995. He should be in the Boxing Hall of Fame as far as I'm concerned. But he lost, he had 93 fights, won 73, 63 were by knockout. He lost 18 fights and came to 2 draws, but he was never knocked down. He never got knocked down ever.
I'm gonna plant this seed for you, dude, and I'm dead serious.
Well, let me finish what I was just gonna say before you do that. I can't remember if it was George Chuvalo, if it was this guy, or if it was Phil Esposito, and Phil Esposito was a hockey player. Now, George Chuvalo and my dad became really good friends, but I think early on, my dad wrote something that pissed him off, and I think it was George Chuvalo that chased my dad in the basement of Maple Leaf Gardens or something like that in Toronto or something, or it was Phil Esposito, and I can't remember who it was. So I'm sure there was something that my dad would write that there was quite a few people that wanted to. But that's cool. Yeah, he was, and going to his house was really cool because he had these. It was like going to like Rocky's. I mean, it wasn't as big as Rocky's home. Obviously, it's not like Chuvalo was hugely rich or whatever. But going to his home, he had a nice big home, and there were like photos of like him and Chuvalo on like just beautiful photos. Here are beautiful photos. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Let me just here. I'll bring up a photo. Muhammad Ali. I bring up a photo. There's a really cool photo of him and Muhammad Ali. There's a lot of them. Anyway, sorry, you can go ahead with what you're saying.
I was just going to say, I'm planting a seed for you because I love the story that you just shared about this guy who I'm not familiar with. And the fact that he never quite made it to the top, but at the same time, he fought some of the greatest and was never knocked down in any of those fights.
Never.
You might want to consider writing a story and making that into a movie, dude.
Well, my dad was before
good story.
My dad was going to write Chuvalo's biography, and Chuvalo wanted my dad to be the one to do it. It never ended up happening, but my dad had the perfect title, which was Still Standing.
Bro, I'm just saying, like, if you still got ties to the guy, I mean, I would just, that's a really good story.
Here's a photo of, this is from Getty Images. This is Chuvalo and Muhammad Ali, 1966, for our audience to see.
Still Standing. I like that.
Can you see that yet? It should come up on the screen in a second.
Yeah. I got it.
Got it? Yeah. So that's 1966. And I believe that's in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. But now, after he fought Muhammad Ali twice. I forget which one it was, whether it was the first one or the second fight. But like I said, afterwards, Muhammad Ali went to the hospital because he was bleeding from the kidneys, and Chuvalo went out dancing with his wife afterwards.
Crazy.
He was a tough fucking son of a bitch.
Make the
Tough
movie,
fucking
dude.
son of a bitch.
You should.
Yeah.
I love boxing movies. Boxing movies are some of my favorites, whether it's Rocky, Cinderella Man, Southpaw, Fighter, you name it. I love a good boxing movie.
Yeah.
And that story, there's just everything you just described there. It really, and even the title, Still Standing. Like, dude, like you, bro, I'm just saying, if you got connections to this guy still, I would seriously talk to Bruce, and that's a story. That's a really good story.
Oh, it is. It is. And certainly, I mean, it is. It's a
like
really
perfect
cool,
for Hollywood.
It's a great story. It's a great story. There's lots of, you just have to Google George Chuvalo and he'll pop up. Really nice guy. And
Raging Bull. Yeah. $1 Million Baby.
Yep.
I love any good boxing movie.
For sure. Yep. For sure. The colored photo I showed you might have been, maybe that was their second fight. Maybe that's why it's in color. I don't know. Their first fight, but I think you might be able even to YouTube their fight online. It might be there. It might be there. I'm not sure. But Chuvalo was tough. Here's a good old black and white photo, and then we'll move on. But this is
definitely, Alex. It could be an Oscar film if they did it right. That's everything. The way Dave just described is like you're in the Oscar category right there. You know what I mean?
For sure. There's a black.
Do you know what his
photo.
upbringing was like? You know what I mean? Like I don't even think the upbringing part really matters. Like Cinderella Man or or Fighter, guys.
Well, it says here. It says on Wikipedia. It says George was a child of Croatian immigrants. Chuvalo became the Canadian amateur heavyweight champion in May 1955, defeating Winnipeg's Peter Piper, that's a funny name, with a first-round knockout in a tournament final in Regina, Saskatchewan. Chuvalo finished his amateur career with a 16-0 record, all by KO within 4 rounds. Nicknamed Boom Boom, Chuvalo turned professional in 1956, knocking out 4 opponents in one night to win a heavyweight tournament held by the former champion Jack Dempsey at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto on April 26, 1956. George Chuvalo's ranking as a heavyweight were number 9 in 1963, number 5 in 1964, number 3 in 1965, number 8 in 1966, number 4 in 68, and number 7 in 1970. Against Ali, Chuvalo is best known for his 2 fights against Muhammad Ali. He went the distance both times, in each case losing by decision by a wide margin on the scorecards. The first fight, on March 29, 1966 at Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens, was for Ali's world heavyweight title. He's the toughest guy I ever fought, said Ali of Chuvalo after the fight.
And that's how you close the movie out. You fade to black and you have Muhammad Ali's quote right there. Boom. Yeah. You just need to figure out what fight you would want to do, or because it really, his story is the fact that he's never been knocked down, but never won the title.
That's right.
That and that, dude, you got $1 million. You got your golden ticket
stuff.
Right there.
It's good stuff. Yeah, definitely. It's cool stuff. It's cool stuff for sure. Let me see. We're talking about dad fights. Yeah, that's how we got onto that. Dad.
Yeah, I think you got a couple of super chats that came in now.
Dad fights.
Did you get the one above that?
Darren Sand says, "Here comes the boom." I think that was a Kevin James movie.
that was a Kevin James movie.
There was a couple of super chats that came in.
No, yeah, Valium. Oh yeah, it just came back. Did you get my $2?
I got that one. Yeah.
We just did Valium. I don't know if you're here or not, dude.
But George Chuvalo's home was so cool. He had those photos that I just showed you. He had photos like that, but like the size of huge framed stuff, all up and down his halls of Frazier and Foreman and Ali when he's fighting them. And he'd take you through, and he's kind of a guy that talks like this, and this is why I was fighting. And he's just such a presence. Like his hands are like catcher's mitts, It's like, and when I shook his hand, like my hand, like disappeared in his hand. You know what I mean? He's such a cool guy, and seems so like he's a Canadian legend. I mean, I think he has the Order of Canada, which is like one of the highest honors you can get. I think he does, but I'm not sure. But
man, what you should do, I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but if it were me and I was in your position, like, and I could get access to him, I would get a video camcorder and just sit down and have him share fucking story after story. You have everything there at your disposal, and then just go from there.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of health he's in now. I mean, he's 84. I only met him once, and it was before my dad died, and that was 2011. So this is probably 2009 or 10. So it's going back, maybe 12 or 13 years ago. He would definitely know if he's of, sound mind and whatnot. He would know who I was because of my dad. But whether he's in a position at 84, like I don't know. Boxers, they suffer a lot of damage. So I'd have to I did exchange a few emails with his wife a few years, or maybe like 2013 or something like that. But I'm not sure. But no, but the principle what you're talking about is of absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Somebody will do it. If it's not me, somebody will do it. I mean, there's a lot of good shit there for sure.
We can go a little bit past 8 since I had to take a break, so that's fine.
All right. Yeah, it's coming up to 8. I just realized that. All right. Let's see here. Warren Armour says, did anybody like the new Power Rangers movie? I enjoyed it. There's a new Power Rangers movie?
I liked it, the one in 2017. I thought it was cool. I thought they would have done a sequel because they sort of hinted at the end with the Green Ranger, and I would have been curious to see how they would have approached.
Because we were too old for Power Rangers though. When it first
we were, but I mean, I knew what they were.
Yeah.
My brother was, that was definitely my brother's era,
right?
And he was huge into that, especially the earlier ones, like the very first ones. Because we were just talking about this the other night because I started watching some of them. And I didn't realize that the original Power Rangers, they were only on for like 2 seasons, like the first group, and then half of them left. And I was like, wow, I guess just back then I thought that they were on together as a team, like for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like I didn't realize that their run as the original group was very short.
It's funny, isn't it? There are certain things that have such huge pop culture impact. And then you realize that it's like the original Star Trek. It was only on for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
It was from 66 to 69. And then Star Trek the Motion Picture wasn't until like 79, I think. Now there was that short-lived animated series in the early 70s, but I mean Star Trek is iconic. It's legendary, and so is the original series, and yet it was only on for 3 seasons and 70 episodes.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Like today, it wouldn't even make syndication because I believe unless the rules have changed, you have to hit 100 episodes to make syndication. So now that's probably changed because of streaming and all that kind of shit. And it's a completely different world. But not too long ago, in order to get syndication, sitcoms had to reach 100 episodes. Syndication is just now it's in repeats, it's in reruns, right? And you can catch it all over the world in certain markets and things like that. But I believe you had to get to 100 episodes. That's probably changed now because of streaming. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Very crazy. So wait, I want to get back up. Wait, someone says they think you're a Donatello guy. So are they like trying to say like
Donatello? My favorite Ninja Turtle growing up was Michelangelo. I liked
Leo.
Michelangelo because I liked just like, whoa, man, what's going on? All right, April.
Well, Leo and Raph. It was.
I like Leonardo too.
Yeah, Leo because of the leadership, but Raphael because of the temper.
I
totally can relate to that.
I remember when my dad, one of the actors, I remember his name. His name is Larry Lamb. And he was one of the stunt performers that was in the Leonardo outfit during the original Ninja Turtles film. And so he wasn't
the 1990 movie.
Right. And so when Leonardo was like kicking ass and doing, flips and shit, that was a stunt performer by the name of Larry Lamb, Asian guy. And he, at that time, when the movie came out, my dad was also working for a radio station in Ottawa, and Larry Lamb came to the radio station, and my dad got Larry Lamb to say "Cowabunga, Dave" on the air. Well, holy fuck! I'm sitting there as a kid, and I'm like, oh my God, Leonardo just said. Now, obviously, Larry Lamb is not the voice of Leonardo in the Ninja Turtle movie, but as a kid, you're not really thinking it doesn't quite sound the same. It just is like this young guy's like, "Cowabunga, Dave," you know, and I'm like, oh my God, losing my mind. And I still have it somewhere. I don't know where it is, but my dad came home with a photo of Larry Lamb, and it says, "Cowabunga, Dave, Larry Lamb." And I had it like on my wall for like ever. I still have it somewhere. It's in a box. I should bust that fucking thing out.
Oh,
so
you know what's kind of
cool.
You know what's a good one? He says here, if you could voice one of the turtles, which one would it be? You know who you would sound good because of the way you articulate things and just your voice? I think you'd be a good Donatello because of the way you just, I think you could go there with Donatello.
I'd play anyone. Yeah, sure. Donatello, Leonardo, maybe more of a leader, maybe, you know.
Raphael, you almost got to get into that Rocky macho type voice. I mean, that's Raphael.
Well, if I just be Michelangelo, man, come on, dude. Oh yeah, all right.
Go with the Keanu surfer.
I totally love this pizza. This is amazing. Can we swear on this cartoon? No. Well, fucking right. Fuck you, kids. Oh, fuck you, Shredder. I'm gonna fucking tear your piece of shit off, man.
Oh, dude, you just reminded me
of a swearing version of Michelangelo.
Well, it's funny you bring up like more of a darker version of the Turtles because
because the comics were dark.
Well, we were watching here Thanksgiving weekend. The James Vanderbeek and Kate, I can't remember her last name, but the YouTube video of the Dark Power Rangers. There was a dark with Dawson's Creek, and Kate something off, I think, or whatever. I don't know. She was on Sackhoff? I think that's her name. She was on the show.
Was she in Halloween Resurrection?
Yeah, her.
Katie Sackhoff.
Yes. I guess it was a fan thing that they had done. It was really dark, like seriously dark. And I'm like, man, that's a Power Rangers movie that I want to fucking see, because it was like they were cussing and they were shooting each other with guns and shit. And I was like, okay, this is not the kids version. But I would be on board if someone wanted to attempt to make a dark, like you said, go back to the roots of the comic books, how it was originally and how it was dark. That'd be interesting to see if they would do that.
That would be cool. Evil Alex says Dave would be perfect as Crank. Do you mean Krang? C-R-A-N-G, Krang, the pink
brain
blob. I actually met the voice actor that plays Krang, that played Krang, was a gentleman in the 80s cartoon, is a gentleman by the name of Patrick Howard Fraley. And in 2013, I was asked to guest speak at a conference in Toronto called Voice World. And Patrick Howard Fraley was the keynote speaker. So the night before, which was sort of like a schmoozing kind of thing, he was there, and we had a good chance to talk and whatnot. I think there's a photo of me somewhere online with him. I think it's me, Patrick Howard Fraley, and Garnet Williams, who's a voice actor here in Toronto, who I know well, talented dude as well. And Patrick Howard Fraley he was fun. And he did obviously he had to do the voice, right? I can't really do it. It's more like, it's just gonna be like that. It's something like that, right? It's in that realm, like, somewhere in there. But he did it, and it was fun. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And it was kind of weird. Like, it was really cool to have been a kid growing up through the 80s and the 90s, being such a huge Ninja Turtle fan. I taped the cartoon. I had like 5 VHS tapes full of the cartoon. I had the toys, I had the sewer. And then to be in a position where I was guest speak, like to be his equal, you know what I mean? In terms of being a speaker at a big thing with him was really cool. So that was kind of a bit of a surreal moment, but that was actually really cool. I think you mean Krang. Crank? Unless there's another character named Crank.
I think it's Krang, like you said.
Krang, yeah. C-R-A-N-G. R-A-N-G is I think how you say it. Let's see. What else we got? Feldman was in better movies. They're talking about Corey Feldman.
Dave and Tony, what are your thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy contract getting renewed for another 3 years? Does this make you worried about future of Star Wars? I don't give two shits about anything Disney related.
From a business perspective, it's the right choice to make. Now, I understand that you can look at certain things and fans are not getting what they're wanting, but when you look at there is definitely a disjointedness with Lucasfilm. There's too much of a turnover rate when it comes to the directors. There's something going on. But in terms of the bottom line, the business, Kathleen Kennedy has made Lucasfilm billions of dollars. And when it comes to, the business side of film, she's had a few hiccups. Yeah, Solo was a flop. Solo's a good movie, actually. Financially, yes, it was a flop. There's a few reasons for that. And of course, the handling of the sequel trilogy, we got that. But the sequel trilogy still, between the three films, still made over $4 billion. So, when you look at your bottom line, you're like, well, and then The Mandalorian has been a bounce back. She, of course, was in charge of that and spearheaded that by hiring Jon Favreau and, getting all that involved. And then, you look at the other things that are coming, like Obi-Wan and Ewan McGregor and stuff. I mean, I know that there is definitely some things that haven't been working. There's definitely issues at hand here. Like we said, the turnover rate creatively with the directors that are brought on board and then leaving. Patty Jenkins now has just left Rogue Squadron. But keep in mind, folks, there's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You may think you know what it is because you watch YouTubers tell you what they know and what they think they know. I know people on the inside, and sometimes I get info, sometimes I don't. And sometimes I get info where I'm like, yeah, it's not what you think. Sometimes it is, but there's a lot of variables at play. And sometimes what hits the headlines or hits the YouTubers' headlines is not really what's going on at all. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. So you always take that with a grain of salt, with what's happening. But certainly, yeah, there does appear to be a turnover rate with filmmakers coming on to direct Star Wars films, and then they leave projects because of creative differences. But put that aside, Kathleen Kennedy, I mean, she's made Lucasfilm billions of dollars, and you've got new shows like Obi-Wan, which has got everybody excited. Season 3 of The Mandalorian, you got Boba Fett. She's doing her, she's hanging in. She's hanging in. She's not a colossal failure as much as the nerdy Star Wars emotionally attached fans would like to think she is, because they didn't get what they want because she seemed to kind of, the sequel trilogy. But you got to look at it as a whole. And if Indiana Jones 5 is a huge success, if it is, you got James Mangold on there, one of the hottest, most talented, directors working today. If Indiana Jones 5, if that's a big if it turns out to be really good, it doesn't have to be the best thing since sliced bread. It just has to be really good. And maybe Indiana Jones has never been $1 billion franchise. Let's keep that in mind. But if Indiana Jones makes close to $1 billion, 700, 800 million or whatever it is, or it makes over $1 billion, well, there's another one. It doesn't surprise me. It may surprise some fans because they're looking at it through a specific type of lens. But when you look at it from the business side of things, and it's not perfect. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, as Rocky would like to say. It's definitely not perfect. But there is enough evidence there that warrants a renewal of her contract, for sure. It makes sense to me. It makes sense. And although she's been sort of hit and miss maybe with this presidential position of Lucasfilm, she still is and still will go down as one of the greatest producers in the history of film. You just look at her filmography and that says it all. So,
what I think? I think I would much rather sit out in a lawn chair with you wearing our tighty whities, watching the grass grow, while drinking the most redneck beer possible than watching anything from Disney.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
That's what I think.
Let's just eat pizza and get really fat and gross.
And just watch the grass grow.
100%. Okay, so what do I weigh right now? I weigh about 165. I want to get to 265. That's where I want to get. My height at 265, nothing but humongousness.
I weigh 180, so I'm 15. So I'd be 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Heavier.
Okay. Well, let's get you to 310. Let's get you to 310. We just no, nothing but pizza, beer, and cake. We're just gonna sit there, pizza, beer, and cake, and we're gonna get you to 310. We're gonna get me to 265, and we're just
watching the grass grow.
And we're just watching the grass grow, and we're just gonna sit there. Every now and then we'll go live.
Dude, we would get millions.
So people can see. So people can see our fat progression. They'll start to see like all this, like this. Our faces start to get huge. And there's this whole thing. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Dude, we'd have if we actually could pull that off, we'd have millions of followers just to
watch.
Oh
my God.
Two idiots get fat and just watching the grass grow.
Fat. Yeah, really fat. And there's like a little
And that's
timer.
The title of the show.
Yeah.
Two idiots watching the grass grow.
That's it. That's the spinoff of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. It's our spinoff show. And and then there's like a counter. There's like a counter on the side that says, "Oh, people tune in." People tune. That's right. People tune. Fuck, Dave's up to 210. Holy shit, Tony's up to 280. What the fuck is going on? 280. You're just.
That's another 100. I can't even imagine what 100 pounds. I'm either be like, that'd be nuts.
No, you're 310. You're just sitting there. Somebody call TLC quick.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
The most popular YouTubers ever.
That'd be so funny. Oh my God. Yeah, Evil Alex has 2 fats and some pizza.
Some pizza. Hell yeah. Eating pizza and cheesecake.
Nothing. It's nothing. And it's like a 24-hour live feed. It's just all the time. Oh my God. We're doing it for charity. We're doing it for charity. That's what it is. Yeah. All money raised goes to charity. Oh, by the way, I forgot to, I was going to mention this earlier. I'll mention it now. I have a Halloween mask up for grabs. What? I do. This is not a super chat thing. It's not a super chat thing. If you're interested, it's up on eBay right now. But if you're interested in this mask right here, this is a Halloween 2 mask. If you're interested in this mask, DM me on my Facebook page, Many Things Dave McRae. All right. And let me know. Okay. It's up on eBay, but if you're watching this right now, 500 US. All right, that's what it is. 500 US is what it's going for. It was up on my Facebook page a little while ago for 400. Nobody bought it. Okay, so I'm putting it where it has it. All right, that's what it is. It's in the Michael Myers mask collecting community. It's known as a DIY H2 mask. It's from 2019. If you're interested, let me know. Maybe I could settle for 450. I can give it 450. I'd let it go for 450. That might seem like a lot to the average person out there because maybe you're used to TOTS masks, but in the independent Michael Myers mask collecting community, as Tony knows, that's in the ballpark of what some of these masks cost. You'll see things from like 250, 350, 300, 400, 500. It all depends on the artist and the mask and all that kind of stuff. So just send me a DM on Many Things Dave McRae.
Yeah, my guy does his for 5. He gave me a break because I buy like a new one from him like every 4 months. So, and I'm always promoting him on my Instagram. Yeah. So I'm going to
buy one from him soon. I'm going to buy one from him soon.
He's really good.
So again, this is a DIY Halloween. Put over here, DIY Halloween H2 mask. All right. This is a really cool mask. I'll let it go for 450. All right. You just have to DM me, pay me through PayPal, DM me. All right. I'm doing some late autumn cleaning. I have so much stuff. I got another one of these. I have another one of these. So I'm just trying to, do some late autumn cleaning. DM me on Many Things Dave McRae and let me know. And then we can make it work there. It's up to you. You don't have to. I just thought I would let you guys know. It's up on eBay right now. It's more expensive on eBay. So, I'm just letting you guys know. Just letting you guys know if you want it. Just saying, you can get it through me personally for a deal. Just letting you know. But yes, it's up on eBay and it's a little bit more expensive on eBay. So that's why I'm giving you guys a little bit of a deal
for you.
Yeah, well, it's to cover a lot of the eBay stuff too, right?
I know.
And by the way, you have to remember that these masks there's all different types of artists out there, right? But the reason why these masks go for, $350, $400, $450, $500, whatever it is because these are independently created from scratch. These are not mass-produced masks you can buy in the store. You can't buy that in the store. So, and it's one of the best-looking H2 masks I've seen. So, you're paying for the craftsmanship and the exclusivity of it. You're paying for the craftsmanship of it. You're paying for the time and effort that the artist put into it. These are not just sort of stamped, signed, sealed, and delivered mass-produced TOTS masks that you can get for $80, right? So anybody who's in the Michael Myers mask collecting community like Tony knows that, yeah, that's a fair price. And like I said, it's one of the better looking Halloween 2 masks.
Looks great.
I've seen.
Looks great.
Yeah. Very Dick Warlock.
It's all about the dick.
It's all about the dick. It's even got the little hole in the neck right there. A hole in the neck. So just DM me on Many Things Dave McRae. And yeah, if you're interested. If not, that's okay. It'll just remain up on eBay. No worries. Somebody will eventually bite it. I know it's got a few watchers at the moment and over 100 views. So yeah, there's probably somebody thinking about it. But just let me know. All right. It's after 8. What do you want to do? You want to wrap this up? Take it 8:30 maybe?
We can go to 8:30 because I was gone for about a good half hour, so I can give them back.
I don't think it was half hour, maybe 10 minutes.
It was about a half hour, but that's all right.
Really? It's half hour? I didn't think it was half hour.
Time flies when you're having fun. Hey,
time flies when Dave never shuts up.
Hey, Mr. Dave and Tony, what is one huge mistake that you'll never make again? Date my ex.
One huge mistake I'll never make again. Well, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot. I can't think of just one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really
like
sure.
Had I known then what I know now.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. It's that kind of stuff for sure.
But at the same time, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't make the mistakes.
That's it. Well, it's about growing, right? It's about learning from the mistakes and growing as a person. And growing as I've always said that, and I've always believed this, that you don't fail in life if you learn from the mistakes that you make, or if you learn. I mean, the only way you fail in life is if you continue to knowingly continue to do the things that you shouldn't be doing, or continuing to hurt people that you're hurting, or whatever the case is. I mean, that's incompetence. But if you learn from your mistakes and you grow to be a better person, whatever that is, whether it's professionally, personally, whatever, then that's really what it's all about. I mean, everybody is human, and we all do things maybe we shouldn't have done, or we should know better, or whatever the case is. It's not an excuse. It just means that, it's we're not perfect, and there's a variety of reasons why people make the decisions they do. Again, not an excuse, but there's a variety of reasons why they do it. And but it's about learning from the mistakes. You have to be able to. There has to be an opportunity to be able to learn and improve from the mistakes. I mean, it can't. You can't design and live in a world where you're just canceled and that's it. You know what I mean? Or you're just you make a mistake and that's it. You're done. I mean, depending on what the mistake is. Murder is a little bit of a, again, there's degrees of this kind of stuff, right? But we're talking about more just kind of everyday stuff. So,
yeah, I think, I mean, one of the things that I've tried to really work on, even doing social media stuff, and I think I've progressively gotten better over the years, is not letting my temper get the better of me.
Right.
Not being so quick to snap and, whatever, and not letting people get under my skin. Whereas back in the day, I think, even, like a year or so ago, I would let shit like that happen. And I would have either a moment on here or on Instagram or whatnot. And that's just, but see, without the individuals knowing, like, that's always been me. I've always had that quick, short temper.
Well, you're Italian.
It's been that way since I was a kid. I had a very short fuse, and I knew that. And it's like I said, like leading into what I was talking about earlier and about photo shooting and whatnot, I get Stanley Kubrick because I'm a lot like that. One, because I put so much pressure on myself, and I think I've got to learn to have some fun with it at the same time, and just relax and not be so quick to blow a head gasket. And I think, again, like you said, if I didn't do all that and I didn't learn from that, and not try to consciously become a better person that way, you would never grow. And you can't sit there and go like, well, what mistakes have you made, in your life, and have you changed? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not changing and you're not trying to become a better person, and you're just still the same individual, I think that's like what you were just talking about, like with murdering and stuff like that. I think if an individual continues to be who they are and not realize that they can be a better person and strive to be a better person, because those are some of the things that I've been striving towards, is to be a better person, to be a better person to work with and collaborate with on shoots and stuff like that, knowing my faults, and so I think to take all that away and not learn from it, I think it could leave a mark on the type of person that I was, rather than like you said, rather than quickly dismissing someone and canceling them. People can say like, well, yeah, he was that way, but he's also grown into a better person over time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yep, I agree. Daniel Hirel sends in $4.99. Says,
Daniel Harris, what?
That's him. That's her. Whoops. Fellas, thank you again for finally doing The Shining. Well, we didn't do it because of you. We were always going to. Next, I'll send you $1 million if Dave finally watches Dr. Sleep. God bless, guys.
I wish.
I still haven't watched it. I got to watch Dr. Sleep, but I haven't watched it yet. And The Shining was great. Yeah, well, it was always on the list. We wanted to wait for the right time of year to do it. And the right time of the year to do The Shining is in and around the autumn, October, November, kind of time.
Heading into winter.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of that's kind of the best the best time to do it.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Mike W says we should always be trying to be better. We can always improve. I could not agree more, Mike. I could not agree more. What else? Gary,
I agree, Rich. Danielle Harris should come on Dave's channel.
Danielle Harris is more than welcome to come on my channel whenever she wants to.
Absolutely.
Gary Rangel says, Dave and Tony, out of the bad Halloween movies, do you consider Halloween 6 the best guilty pleasure to enjoy out of all the other bad Halloween movies?
I don't really watch the bad Halloween movies.
I don't either.
I mean, unless we're doing it on here, you know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. The only ones that I watch are Halloween 281, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, and primarily that is it. I will occasionally throw on H2O. It's a mood. If I'm feeling like this year, I did watch H2O. It was a mood thing. I was feeling me some H2O, so I fucking threw it on.
Right.
But it's not an every year thing, and I could go years without watching H2O. And then obviously I do like Kills, and I'm gonna get it. I think it digitally comes out next month, right? In December.
Comes out digitally in December, physical media January.
Yeah, I will definitely be quick to get that, and that will definitely be on my Halloween watch list. But honestly, guys, I don't watch 5. I don't watch 6. I don't watch Resurrection. I will watch Rob Zombie. I will watch Rob Zombie's first Halloween. Again, if I'm feeling it, usually maybe every year and a half or so, I'll pop that on. Certainly not his second one, unless Dave and I are going to do something with regards to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't, it's funny and again, this is something that you learn, right? When I became part of this Halloween horror community, I didn't realize, and not that I was thinking about it like consciously or anything. I don't know. I always say this, but it's true. It's a really fascinating experience seeing all the different kinds of fans there are, and the different levels of Halloween fans, and the different levels of horror fans, and what people are into, and things like that. I'm not the kind of Halloween fan that watches Halloween all the time. And when I say Halloween, I mean like the Halloween movies. I guess about a month or so ago, I watched Halloween H2O. As part of my Saturday movie night for my patrons, which went up on my channel live. And that was the first time I had watched Halloween H2O from start to finish, probably in over 20 years.
Well, we did it. We watched.
Oh yeah, we did it. Yeah, that's right. But certainly with Tony and me and on my channel, like I don't watch it. I don't, that's the first time I had seen it since I did it with Tony. And it's not something that I watch. I don't watch, I'm not the Halloween, like, yes, I'm a big Halloween fan, but I don't sit and watch, like I won't just pop in Halloween on a random Saturday in June. I just don't do that. I don't even pop it in on a random Saturday in October sometimes. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. I don't know. I think it's because I talk about it so much that I don't watch it. Like it's almost akin to directors and actors who don't watch their own movies. Now, do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm so emotionally invested and I'm, one of the Halloween guys on here and I'm talking about it all the time and I'm answering so many questions about it. The last thing I want to do is come home from work, quote unquote, and watch a Halloween movie. You know what I mean? It's like the last thing I want to do because it's like my job on YouTube almost, depending on the time of year. So I don't really do it. But if I am going to watch a Halloween movie, I'm like Tony. I watch 1, I watch 2. I rarely watch 3, but I'm getting into 3 a bit more now. I'll watch 4, and to be honest with you, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't
Those
watch
4
5.
I watch on a yearly basis. Those first 4 on a yearly basis, I will watch. Anything after that,
yeah. I don't watch 5. I don't watch 6. I don't watch H2O. I don't watch Resurrection. I don't watch the Rob Zombie movies. I've only seen, now get this. This is going to shock some Halloween fans out there. They're going to be like, what? And it's not, and remember, I don't hate the movie. I saw Halloween 18 at the world premiere. So I watched it. I was watching it. So that's one time I count as actually watching, paying attention. I watched it again, like maybe a month and a half later when I was in Hollywood. I was in LA for the 40th anniversary convention, and Louis Lecca of Nuke the Fridge / The Nerd Report invited me to go to the Chinese theater and watch Halloween 18 the day before it released to the public. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So that's my second time that I saw Halloween 18, where I'm sitting, in a theater, paying attention to the movie with no distractions, just watching the movie. That is the last time I've seen Halloween 18 that way. And it's not because
we've done it twice, right?
We've done it. I did a watch along, with you on my channel. I've yes, but actually, watching it.
I think
I've done it on my channel, and you and I have done it on my channel. But actually, like sitting down on a random Saturday or Friday night and just like, I'm gonna watch Halloween 18. I've never done it. And it's not because I hate the movie. I don't hate the movie. You know how I feel about it. I don't hate the movie at all. It's probably I'd probably rank it like at 5 or 6, in the list, right? It's ahead of 6. It's ahead of 5. It's ahead of H2O. It's ahead of Resurrection. It's ahead of Rob Zombie's movies. It's one of the better Halloween sequels for sure, no doubt. But I'm not one of those fans that is just glued like that and just obsessed that way. And I think it might be because of how much I talk about it, potentially.
I get that.
And Halloween Kills, I liked less than Halloween 18. I saw it at a screening. I saw it again at home, and I watched it with Tony, and that's the last time I watched it. And I have no interest. I'll probably buy it just so I have it, but I don't know when I don't know when the next time is I'll watch Kills. I didn't like it enough to be like, I gotta watch it again. You know what I mean? It's just not. But there are some people out there that are so obsessed with Halloween that they watch it. It's part of their Rolodex. It's just part of their life. They just watch Halloween every now and then, and any of the movies. But that's what I came to learn that, wow, there's many different kinds of fans. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get it. That's why for me, on a consistent basis, on a yearly basis, I will definitely watch the first 4, and I'll probably watch Halloween 2 at least twice a year, minimally. Yeah. I love that sequel. That sequel,
Halloween 2 81.
81, yeah. That sequel has grown on me as the older I get. Whatever reason, it's just one of those. I can't explain it. It is what it is. But yeah, those first 4, but even with Kills, I will definitely get it, but it's not one that I'm going to sit there and be like, yeah, I'm going to watch it this year. When October rolls around, I will guarantee you the first 4 will definitely be watched. And then it's a mood. I'll look at the rest of them and I'll be like, what am I feeling? And I may not be feeling anything. And it just may be those 4 films. And that's it. You know what I mean? Very rarely will I ever let a year go by without watching Halloween 4 for sure, and definitely Halloween 2 now. But I could go a year without watching the original. I could go a year without watching the Halloween 3 and be fine. But Halloween 2 and 4, I don't think I could let a year go by without, especially during the October run.
That's it.
And just, not and missing out on it. So, but I get what you're saying. When you talk about something so much, it's like,
well, there's just only so much you can do.
So much you can say. I mean, you're not say. I'm sorry. When you talk about it so much, it's like the last thing you want to do is be sitting there watching another Halloween movie. It's like,
that's it. And I love you guys. I love our Halloween fans and our Halloween, cheerleaders. And I love talking Halloween. I really do. But there's only so much you can talk about, and I think I've done a pretty good job and there's always new viewers and new subscribers, and certainly I don't mind talking about it, but I think I've done a pretty good job at stating how I feel about the original film and the different layers and the symbolism, and is there a motive or isn't there a motive, or this, that, and the other. But I'm not the kind of, and all the power to YouTubers that do this, all the power to them. You got to do what you got to do. You do you, I'll do me, right? But I'm not the kind of person that is going to jump online and do talk about Halloween for the sake of talking about Halloween to get views or clicks or likes. I'm not the kind of person that's just going to jump on and go, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to do a top 10 Dr. Loomis goatees, top 10 Michael Myers bootlaces, I'm like, come on, I mean,
there's videos out there like that.
I know. And listen, but the crazy thing is about this community. And I say this because I love it, but it's just so funny is that if I did do that, that video would get 5,000 views in its sleep. And it's like, seriously?
I know.
Seriously? People just love Halloween. You could talk about Michael's. I mean, I could be like, okay, if Michael Myers had a job at a grocery store, what would he do? And people would be totally fucking into that. It's just, it's a level of fandom I didn't know existed until I started doing YouTube. And it's really cool. But, I can only take so much of that. You know what I mean? I can't, I'm not that level. It's just, it doesn't mean much to me, but all the power to those that it does. Now, do you want to end it now, or do you want to go another 10 minutes and bring it to 2.5 hours?
There's a super chat that came in, and there's another question I think we should answer because I've been watching it come up for a while now. So why don't you get to the super chat, and then we'll do the last question.
Okay. Super chat is from Daniel Hirel, sends in $1.99, says, have you guys ever had a paranormal experience? I have. It's kind of hard to explain, but it was from my second year of college, and it was this whole thing. It was like a 6-month thing and an investigation, and we were ghost hunters before ghost hunters was a thing, before it was fashionable to say you were a ghost hunter. There was no such thing as ghost hunters on TV or Paranormal Activity or Medium with Patricia Arquette or Ghost Whisperer with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Those things didn't exist. It was just this experience. It was at this abandoned farmhouse, and it was this whole crazy thing. And it was something that I've written into a movie that's kind of like a horror drama kind of thing. It's a feature-length script that I've written that needs polishing and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to get in any great detail because I don't want to give sort of my story away. But the short answer is yes, I have. But I will say this, I don't. If somebody was to ask me, do you believe in ghosts? I would say, well, I don't know. I think it's okay to say I don't know. I do believe, and I'm the first person to always say that having a belief in something, the belief isn't evidence of that something's existence. So you can believe in God, or you can believe in ghosts, or you can believe in anything. But having the belief isn't objective evidence, measurable evidence that something does exist. But I do believe that there is enough, at the very least, circumstantial evidence that points to something surviving the death process. I'm not saying that it's in a religious sense, like how the Christians see it, or how the Muslims see it, or how, the Jews see it, or, whatever the case is. I'm not saying it's like that. but I do think there is something that may survive the process of death, whether that's consciousness, awareness. I'm thinking about it on a real scientific sort of level, and whether that translates into ghosts or imprints or voices or whatever it is, I don't know. But I do have enough experience to say that there's something going on, but I'm just not quite sure what. Tony, what about you? Have
I ever had a paranormal experience? Yeah, every time I've had sex.
Who are you having sex with? Fucking are you having sex with Pazuzu or something?
me and Bathsheba.
Bathsheba. Oh, Bathsheba. Right, from The Conjuring. I thought it was Pazuzu.
No, I've been in so many of these abandoned houses and done shoots in a lot of these old antebellum homes, especially down here in the South. I was up in Connecticut. Man, I got to pull one of my hard drives out, but if I can get these pictures, I was inside this old, because Connecticut's a very old state, one of the original colonies, and there was an old mental hospital up in Kent, Connecticut. Look it up if you guys can look it online.
Abandoned.
It's abandoned now.
Yeah. Old abandoned mental hospitals are great.
That experience was just very creepy because look, it was very archaic on the things that they did back in the day to a lot of these mental patients, a lot of like electric shock therapy. We saw some of the electric chairs it wasn't designed to kill the people, but they would sit in there and give them shock therapy treatment. I just remember walking through there though. And now in hindsight, it would be a dope location to do a lot of Freddy shoots in, but at the same time being in there, it's an uneasy feeling. I'm not saying that I saw anything or heard anything, right. But because it's just, and I think it's just the element of it, just being in an abandoned old mental hospital. We saw this carriage that looked like a stroller carriage that you would put a baby in that was like from like the 1930s,
right,
decaying there. There's just a lot of stuff that I'm thinking like,
stuff,
shit, if I had access to this place today doing these photos, I would be making some iconic fucking Freddy pictures with this location.
That's right.
But yeah, as far as any like the houses down here in the South, no, I can't say like I've ever, we've heard noises in there, but usually we kind of deduct it with like, it's probably an animal fucking scurrying around somewhere.
Yeah. More often than not, there are reasonable explanations for unusual occurrences.
Yeah. There was one location where we were out shooting a Friday the 13th shoot out in the woods in South Carolina, between the borderline of Georgia and South Carolina.
And you mean shooting on Friday the 13th, not a Friday the 13th movie.
Exactly. Shooting on the day.
Well, because our audience is going to go, you were shooting shooting on Friday, shooting pictures on Friday the 13th.
No. Shooting a Friday the 13th photo themed shoot.
Is that what you meant?
Doing. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay. I actually thought you meant it the other way. My mistake.
It was one of the few times I couldn't get access to the campgrounds because they had something going on. So
right.
Whenever that happens, it is what it is. So we went up to this other spot where it was a place where a kind of similar thing like the hospital that I just described to you, but this was an old abandoned camp for kids with special needs. It was, again, and it dates back to like the 50s and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you have to walk, a serious hike to get there because the road ends and then you got like a Blair Witch, hike to the spot. But on the way to the spot, we came across this like burial ground site, which has to be Native American because there's no other way I can explain because it was just basically, or it just could be, the first settlers in Georgia because all it was just, they were markers. They were little like square markers. You knew what it was. You knew it was a grave site because they were spread out all around and it was just in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing there. It was just right in the middle of nowhere. That's probably the most creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
Because it's like, this is like straight out of Blair Witch Project at this point. And that's what we were saying to each other. Like, what the fuck? This is in the middle of nowhere. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And either it was one or the other. Either it was like the early settlers of Georgia or it was something Native American. Because the area that I live in Georgia is a lot of Native American history.
Right.
So
very cool.
Yeah, no. I didn't get to experience anything like you did.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, the question came because she kept asking us, so I wanted to make sure.
Sure.
Where is it now? All right, Daisy McMillan.
Yes.
She asked Dave and Tony favorite biopic movies. Mine, Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. I mean, I like Johnny Cash. The whole story. Yeah, it's just a fucking great movie. I mean, there's so many that are really good, but that's one that I definitely do watch on a regular basis. What about you? What's your favorite biopic?
I don't know if I have a favorite biopic, but I will say that I really liked The King's Speech. I think that was a terrific film. I quite liked... let's see, The King's Speech. I quite liked The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio as well.
That's a great one. Great biopic.
That's a great biopic. Yeah. You know, yeah, I'd have to kind of check.
Biopics tend to be really good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they can be. They can be. They can also be, you know, hit and miss. It depends, but certainly, yeah. I would say that
Wolf on Wall Street. I mean, Wolf on Wall Street is a
Wolf
biopic.
of Wall Street was that's it. Yeah,
or Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Some biopics take, you know, a little bit creative liberties, but certainly, yeah, that Wolf of Wall Street was good. I saw that in the theater. That was very good. I saw The Aviator in the theater too.
My biopic that was really good, called Unfaithful, starring Richard Gere and Diane Keaton.
That's not a biopic.
That's a biopic on me.
Yeah.
Biopic on me and my ex.
Oh my God. That's a good movie though.
It is. That's like Diane Lane. Yeah, Diane Lane.
Diane Lane. Yeah, I know. She's
hot in that movie.
Diane Lane's a beautiful woman.
Oh yeah, she is one of the. She literally is the definition of beautiful. I mean that, like when I think of beautiful, she's like because her personality, everything. She's just a. Yeah, that's why she's hanging up right there. That's why she's on the wall.
That's it. That's it.
What other good biopics that have been? I'm kind of scrolling through my movies right now to see which ones that I have that. I mean,
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at a list and kind of think, but I can't. But yeah, the Wolf of Wall Street, you know, Walk the Line is good. The Aviator, you know, there's some good ones even from earlier on too, like I can't think off the top of my head.
I'm scrolling through a lot of my movies right now to see which ones that I have. But I think we named all the ones. Good Morning Vietnam. That's a biopic based on the disc jockey in Vietnam.
Yeah, I guess you could
based on him,
that.
The story.
Yeah,
but yeah, and that's a good one.
Yeah,
I don't know if it does it really totally categorize as a biopic.
Right. Yeah.
The Fighter is a biopic based on the two brothers there with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I just found out? And it never dawned on me. I never made the connection until I realized afterwards. But I never realized that the old man in Edward Scissorhands is Vincent Price. I never fucking, all those years watching that movie, it's Vincent Price. I was like, wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and I haven't seen Edward Scissorhands in years.
We need to watch that soon. That's a good Christmas winter type movie. We need to watch that soon.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while.
Catch Me If You Can is sort of a biopic based on the guy who did all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's a Spielberg film.
We should do that soon too.
That's a good movie. I like that movie.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was the first time DiCaprio worked with Spielberg. That's right.
I think it might have been the only time.
Yeah, you're right on that. Braveheart. That's a good. Isn't that based on the guy George Wallace? That's true. Right?
Yeah, but I've heard Braveheart is like really
Hollywoodized.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
The Bonnie and Clyde biopic, the old school one with I love me some Faye Dunaway now. I mean, fucking A.
Faye Dunaway.
Especially in this movie. Like, oh yeah. But I would really, honestly, that's a movie I would love to be, because again, this is 1967. So they couldn't do what they could get away with now in filmmaking. The Highwaymen was pretty good. That was a Netflix movie with Woody Harrelson and Kevin Costner, based on the cops who went after the Rangers or whatever they are that went after Bonnie and Clyde. But I would like to see a biopic on Bonnie and Clyde, because those of that era of the gangster movies, like I know Johnny Depp did the John Dillinger one, Public Enemy, which is good. I liked it, but I just felt like I was watching Johnny Depp. You know what I mean? At times, like I'm not saying that he's not a bad actor or anything, but I don't know. It didn't. I like that era of our time in our country, the 1920s and 30s, the gangsters and everything, Babyface, Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, Capone. Yeah. Like I watched for the very first time, believe it or not, I watched it over Thanksgiving weekend, was The Untouchables with Kevin Costner.
Untouchables is great.
Fucking great movie. Holy shit.
You'd never seen it before?
Never. I had never seen it before. It is, which is surprising because I love everything from that era. Yeah. And I was just like, wow.
Have you seen JFK? Have you seen JFK with Costner?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I was so like when they killed Sean Connery in Untouchables, I was like, what? Like, are you shitting me? But then of course finding out it's all based on like true, would that be considered a biopic, The Untouchables?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean it's based on real events, yes. I'd have to look up what really designates a biopic. I think biopics are usually about individuals.
Sure.
But it's more than that. It's more than that. I don't think so. Yeah. Although I'm not sure.
Like with the John, what I was trying to say with regards to Public Enemy and Johnny Depp, like I felt like I was watching the gangster version of Jack Sparrow. Mm-hmm. That's what I felt like I was watching at times. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it was just that because I think Depp is great in movies like Blow, Donnie Brasco. He was really good in those two movies. He was awesome in Black Mass as Whitey Ford, Whitey something. I can't remember the guy's last name, but that's based on a true story too, of the mob guy up in Massachusetts. But for some reason, when he played the Dillinger role, I was just like, I don't know. I felt like I was just watching, like I said, the gangster Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Depp's just so weird and eccentric. He's always playing those weird roles. He's always in makeup and shit. And I'm just like, nah, it just doesn't do it for me. I'd love to see him in some serious drama that's not, I mean, I've seen him in that kind of stuff, but you know what I mean? 9 times out of 10 when he's cast, he's always playing the weird warlock or the weird, butler. Or it's just weird. Yeah. It's just weird. Anyway. Last thing here, Oliver Mercer, £5. Thanks, buddy. Says, have you both seen Midnight Express? Express.
That's with Robert De Niro. No,
that's Midnight Run.
Midnight Run.
No, Midnight Express is 1978. I have not seen it. No, I have not seen Midnight Express.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I was thinking of Midnight Run.
Midnight Run is a great movie.
Fucking great. We got to watch that one time.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's a good buddy movie.
Oh, it
great. Really is. It's a really good, like that. Like if I had to do a list of a top 10 buddy movie, Midnight Run with De Niro and oh my God, what's his name?
Charles Grodin.
Thank you. Great fucking movie. If you guys have not seen it, I can't recommend that movie enough. Such a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's great. Listen, we got to skedaddle, folks. We got to go. Yeah. That is going to do it for episode 133 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. This all Q&A. Thank you to our great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all the Super Chat questions that came in today. The few non-Super Chat questions, we were able to get to. Really appreciate you guys as well. Tony and I will be back next Monday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bat time, same bat channel. We hope you guys are doing well. And Tony, any last things you want to say?
No, great show. Good time answering all these questions, and I'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, folks. Have a great, and I may be back on the channel, of course, before then, but have a great rest of your Monday night, and have a great, whatever. Don't forget, hey, include It's Me, Billy in your horror holidays. Just saying. Alrighty, we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.